Chapter 26-22. What? Duan Lingtian isn't even 100 years old? If he really ascended to the spirit overarching heaven not long ago, doesn't that mean he was born in the mundane realm less than 100 years ago? He ascended after cultivating for less than 100 years? Isn't it rare to see someone like that? Of course it's rare. Even among 10,000 ascenders. No, even among 100,000 ascenders, there might not even be one such person. Bloody Spectre City is such a small place. How could such a person ascend? Why does it sound so unrealistic? In the Silverworm Army's camp, the Silverworm Army soldiers were shocked when they heard the news. Apart from the centurions and decurions of the Silverworm Army who had seen Duan Lingtian with their own eyes, many people began to doubt Duan Lingtian's identity. They doubted Duan Lingtian was someone who had ascended to the Celestial Ascension Pool under the Silverworm Army's jurisdiction. Duan Lingtian, he's not even 100 years old? Lord Commander actually reserved a spot for him to go to the county governor's estate? Miao Lai Long, the commander of the Silverworm Army, was horrified when he heard the news. He had heard about the city governor of Bloody Spectre City sending 2 people to the county governor's estate in 9 Spectres County. However, he was unaware that the city governor of Bloody Spectre City had reserved one of the spots for Duan Lingtian. Is the city governor doing this to curry favor with Duan Lingtian, so he'll willingly hand over his celestial methods and divine abilities? Miao Lai Long began to waver at this moment. Even if the city governor wanted to curry favor with Duan Lingtian, there was no need to give him a spot, right? If Duan Lingtian did not hand over his celestial methods and divine abilities before going to the county governor's estate in 9 Spectres County, it would be extremely difficult for the city governor to obtain his celestial methods and divine abilities after he went to the county governor's estate. This won't do. I have to ask the city governor about this. As soon as this thought appeared in Miao Lai Long's mind, he left the Silverworm Army's camp and went to the city governor's estate to look for Lu Fenggu. When Miao Lai Long expressed his doubts about Lu Fenggu's actions, Lai Long in the main hall, Lu Fenggu, who was sitting at the head of the table, looked at Miao Lai Long indifferently and said, "I'll be honest with you. I have no intention of asking Duan Lingtian to hand over his celestial methods and divine abilities. You've been my subordinate for many years, so I hope you won't have such thoughts. Duan Lingtian has an unruly and stubborn character. Even if you kill him, it is very unlikely that he will hand over the immortal techniques and divine abilities he has mastered. Among 100,000 ascenders, it's hard to find someone like him who's not even 100 years old. His future is limitless. Rather than destroy such a person, it's better to befriend him." What do you think? When Lu Fenggu finished speaking, he looked at Miao Lai Long meaningfully. A hint of threat could be seen in his eyes. Miao Lai Long's heart sank. Although he was unwilling, he did not dare to show it. "You're right, Lord City Governor. If there's nothing else, I'll take my leave." Miao Lai Long bade farewell and left the main hall. He left the city governor's estate and Bloody Spectre City and returned to the Silverworm Army's camp. Miao Lai Long had come to Bloody Spectre City alone. When he returned, he brought his sister, Miao Lai Feng, who was in Lai Feng restaurant with him. After returning to the Silverworm Army's camp, Miao Lai Long summoned his brother-in-law, Captain Yang Kongping, to see him. Yang Kongping, who had lost an arm, could only rely on one leg to stand. His face was slightly pale, and he no longer had his previous high spirits. However, in the depths of his eyes, there seemed to be a bone-deep hatred hidden at all times. "Brother, why did you call me back?" Miao Lai Feng asked curiously as she looked at her brother. "Things have changed. Lord City Governor has no intention of taking Duan Lingtian's celestial spells and divine abilities. I've made the wrong move," Miao Lai Long said in a deep voice. "What?" As soon as Miao Lai Long finished speaking, Miao Lai Feng and Yang Kongping's expressions changed. After all, they were counting on the city lord of Bloody Spectre City to obtain Duan Lingtian's celestial methods and divine abilities to avenge them. According to Miao Lai Long, the city governor of Bloody Spectre City was a cautious person. Once he obtained the Duan Lingtian's celestial methods and divine abilities, he would definitely eliminate the Duan Lingtian from this world. But now, Miao Lai Long was telling them, the the city governor of Bloody Spectre City had no intention of taking Duan Lingtian's celestial methods and divine abilities? Rumor has it that Lord City Governor has already given one of the two places to go to the county governor's estate in Nine Spectres County to Duan Lingtian. Initially, I thought he was just trying to placate Duan Lingtian so that Duan Lingtian would hand over the celestial methods and divine abilities. However, brother, you're saying Lord City Governor has no intention of taking Duan Lingtian's celestial methods and divine abilities. Does he really intend to send Duan Lingtian to the county governor's estate? Yang Kongping asked in a deep voice as he looked at Miao Lai Long. When there were outsiders around, he would address Miao Lai Long as Lord Commander. However, in private, he would address Miao Lai Long as brother, just like his wife. Yes, he intends to send Duan Lingtian to the county governor's estate. Based on his words, it seems like he's trying to befriend Duan Lingtian. Miao Lai Long nodded. Befriend Duan Lingtian? Yang Kongping's expression darkened. Is it possible that Duan Lingtian is really a transcender who's not even 100 years old yet? Although I don't want to believe it, it's the truth. Miao Lai Long nodded again. Based on Miao Lai Long's words, it seems like he has a thorough understanding of Duan Lingtian. He knows Duan Lingtian is someone who would rather die than hand over the celestial methods and divine abilities. For this reason, he chose to befriend Duan Lingtian while Duan Lingtian is still weak. Brother, are we just going to let this matter rest? Can we only watch as Duan Lingtian rises from Bloody Spectre City and heads to the county city of Nine Spectres County? It'll be even more difficult for us to deal with him after he heads to the county city of Nine Spectres County. Miao Laifeng's expression was filled with reluctance. Naturally, we can't just let this matter rest, Miao Lai Long said in a deep voice. However, I'm afraid we won't be able to stop Duan Lingtian from heading to the county city of Nine Spectres County. The only thing we can do now is to stay in Bloody Spectre City in the Silverworm Army's camp. I've worked for Lord City Governor for many years, and I know his character very well. Since he has decided to befriend Duan Lingtian, he definitely won't let us harm Duan Lingtian. Miao Lai Long paused for a moment before he said, "From now on, all of you must stay calm. Once Duan Lingtian heads to the county city of Nine Spectres County, we'll think of a way to spread the news that Duan Lingtian has mastered a heaven-grade celestial method and divine ability to the county city of Nine Spectres County. At that time, even Duan Lingtian won't be able to live peacefully in the county governor's estate in Nine Spectres County. Isn't he stubborn and unruly? He'd rather die than hand over his celestial methods and divine abilities, right? We can use someone else to force him to his death." Miao Lai Long's eyes flashed coldly when he finished speaking. It was as though he had transformed into a poisonous snake as he stared at Duan Lingtian. "Brother, you're wise." Miao Laifeng and Yang Kongping's eyes lit up when they heard Miao Laifeng's words. Their eyes were as bright as the stars in the night sky. 4 months passed in just a blink of an eye. At this moment, the people in Bloody Spectre City and the soldiers from the Black Dragon Army and the Silverworm Army had shifted their attention to the city governor's estate. Today was the day the city governor's estate would be holding an arena for the Golden Celestials below the age of 100 from the Black Dragon Army, the Silverworm Army, and the Golden Serpent Guards. The person who became the arena champion would be able to leave Bloody Spectre City and head to the county city of Nine Spectres County in a month's time. Unfortunately, only Centurions of the Black Dragon Army and the Silverworm Army can enter the city governor's estate to watch the battle. We won't be able to see the Golden Celestials below the age of 100 from the Black Dragon Army, the Silverworm Army, and the Golden Serpent Guards. Many people in Bloody Spectre City sighed in disappointment. Don't worry. It's said that Lord City Governor will use a floating image pearl to record the entire battle. At that time, the recording will be played in the central square of Bloody Spectre City for a month. Floating image pearl? Is that the low-grade celestial artifact that has the same effect as a floating image celestial talisman, but can only be used once? That's right. After learning that the city governor of Bloody Spectre City would use a low-grade celestial artifact, the floating image pearl, to record the battle in the central square of Bloody Spectre City, many people began to look forward to it. At the same time, a large group of people had also gathered in the city governor's estate. Naturally, most of them were Centurions of the Black Dragon Army and the Silverworm Army who were here to watch the battle. There are 3 people from the Black Dragon Army participating in the battle today: Captain Zhao Dongxing, Captain Qin Yu, and Centurion Xuelang. Tong Zheng, a centurion of the Black Dragon Army who was Duan Lingtian's subordinate, had also arrived. He looked at the people standing in the arena and said to another centurion of the Black Dragon Army next to him, "Look at the Silverworm Army. There are only 2 people from the Silverworm Army." There were only 2 people from the Silverworm Army participating in the battle today. This was because there were only 2 Golden Celestials below the age of 100 in the Silverworm Army. 5 people from the Golden Serpent Guards are here. Although there were more natives of Devata realms who were below the age of 100 who were Golden Celestials compared to Ascendants, the number of natives who were Golden Celestials was much higher. However, in a small place like Bloody Spectre City, there were only a limited number of such people. Let's begin. Soon after, Lu Fenggu, the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, arrived. After everyone bowed respectfully to him, he announced in a loud voice. The 10 people in the arena began to compete with each other. It was a free-for-all. The last person standing on the stage would be the champion of today's competition. He would be able to accompany the envoy of the county governor's estate to the county governor's estate in the county governor's estate in the county governor's estate in the county governor's estate. Half an hour later, the results were out. He's the last one standing? How's it possible? Chapter 26-23. On the vast arena, a tall and handsome young man stood there. He was clad in black armor, which accentuated his extraordinary valiance. He was awe-inspiring, like a god of war. Judging from his attire, he was a member of the Black Dragon Army. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Chen Xianba, the commander of the Black Dragon Army, shook his head as he looked at the silver-armored young man in the arena. He would be the last one to remain in the arena. I thought it would be Captain Zhao Dongxing if there was anyone left in the Black Dragon Army. I didn't expect it to be Captain Qin Yu. The members of the Black Dragon Army looked at the young man in silver armor with shock and disbelief in their eyes. Half a year ago, Qin Yu was only a centurion. He had only been promoted to a new Chiliarch after successfully challenging a Chiliarch. In the eyes of the Black Dragon Army today, if the Black Dragon Army were to stand at the end, it would definitely be Captain Zhao Dongxing. No one would have thought that the one standing at the end would be this 1,000-man commander Qin Yu. Furthermore, through the chaotic battle earlier, they were able to clearly see what was going on. The reason why Qin Yu was able to stand at the end was definitely not due to luck. It was completely because of his powerful strength that he was able to smoothly eliminate the others. Commander Chen, your Black Dragon Army has truly hidden itself well. First there was a Duan Lingtian, and now there's a Qin Yu. The commander of the Silverworm Army, Miao Lailong, stared coldly at Chen Xianba and sneered. Thank you for the compliment, Commander Miao. Chen Xianba glanced at Miao Lailong and replied with a smile. He appeared very magnanimous, which was a stark contrast to Miao Lailong's cold smile. Qin Yu, in the following month, prepare well and hand over the things in your hands. In a month, come to the City Master's Mansion and follow the special envoy from the 9 Spectres County's County Governor's Mansion to leave Bloody Spectre City for the County City. The City Master of the Bloody Spectre City, Lu Fenggu, also looked at Qin Yu in surprise. Today, the one standing at the end will be Qin Yu, who has just become a Chiliarch of the Black Dragon Army half a year ago. He had also witnessed the strength that Qin Yu had just displayed. Compared to the other 9 people, Qin Yu was indeed a notch stronger. Qin Yu stood at the end of the line and won a spot to go to the 9 Spectres County in a month. I can't believe he's the one who's going to 9 Spectres County with me in a month. In a corner that no one noticed, the purple-clothed Duan Lingtian was standing there. He was looking at Qin Yu, who was standing on the arena. His eyes could not help slightly narrowing as he muttered in a somewhat surprised manner. Qin Yu only became a Chiliarch after he joined the Black Dragon Army. Qin Yu did not even need to make a move. His target, Jin Xiaoping, had already admitted defeat. And the reason why Jin Xiaoping admitted defeat was also related to him. Jin Xiaoping wanted to preserve his strength and challenge him. Because everyone's attention is focused on Qin Yu, no one has noticed Duan Lingtian, who has been standing in a corner for a long time. Actually, Duan Tian had already appeared when the competition on the combat ring began, and he had watched the entire process with his eyes. Now that the outcome of the battle had been decided, Duan Tian did not linger. He turned around and left. He came without a sound, and left without a sound as well. However, after he left, he did not return to cultivate. Instead, he walked out of the city governor's estate. I didn't expect I would be able to break through from an indigo moon, heavenly celestial, to a violet moon, heavenly celestial in just a few months. Apart from the prominent celestial stones, the spirit-nourishing pills, and the cultivation room, it's mostly due to the 99 heavenly veins in my body. When Duan Tian left the city governor's estate, he thought about how he had become a violet moon, heavenly celestial a few days ago. He could not help but feel excited. After coming to the Devata realm, Duan Tian could clearly feel the benefits of having 99 saint veins in his body. He did not feel this way when he was in the mundane realms. No wonder Hualao said my 99 heavenly veins would shine in the Devata realm. As expected, Hualao didn't lie to me. Duan Tian thought to himself. A few days ago, after Duan Tian had broken through and become a violet moon heavenly celestial, he stopped cultivating and came out of closed-door cultivation. There were two reasons he did not continue to cultivate. First, he knew it would be impossible for him to break through and become a golden celestial before he went to the county city of Nine Spectres County. Second, he wanted to learn more about the Devata realms before he went to the county city of Nine Spectres County. Currently, his knowledge of the Devata realms was limited to what he had learned from the waiter in the restaurant. Since the waiter did not know everything about the Devata realms, there was no way he would tell him everything. After leaving the city governor's estate, Duan Tian found a few bookstores that were similar to bookstores and used a few primitive celestial stones to purchase a dozen memory celestial talismans that he needed. The memory celestial talisman could record and store a certain amount of information. As long as one extended one's divine consciousness into the memory celestial talisman, one would be able to read the recorded and stored information and make it a part of one's memory. However, the memory celestial talisman was a one-time use item. Once the divine consciousness read the information stored in it, it would shatter. Something worth mentioning was, most of the celestial talismans in the Devata realms were inscribed on jade slips. After purchasing the memory celestial talisman, Duan Tian returned to Lu Fenggu's residence in the city governor's mansion. However, he did not go to the cultivation room. Instead, he stayed in the guest room that Lu Fenggu had prepared for him. Although it was called a guest room, it was actually a courtyard that resembled a small mansion. There were 3 rooms and a spacious courtyard. Lord Duan Tian. Lord Duan Tian. There were 2 guards standing at the entrance of the courtyard. When they saw Duan Tian, they hastily bowed and greeted him respectfully. "Do you know me?" Duan Tian looked at the 2 guards in surprise. He remembered that when he had just arrived at the city governor's estate a few months ago, these 2 guards were not the ones guarding the entrance. "Lord Duan Tian, after you arrived, Lord City Governor had spread your portrait throughout the city governor's estate. Lord City Governor also said that we should treat you with the same respect as we would treat him. If anyone dares to disrespect you, they can forget about staying in the city governor's estate." One of the guards replied respectfully when faced with Duan Tian's question. "The city governor is very considerate." Duan Tian shook his head and smiled before he walked into the courtyard. Then, he was welcomed by a few maidservants in the courtyard into a large room that was surrounded by 2 smaller rooms. After returning to his room, Duan Tian took out a memory celestial talisman and extended his divine consciousness into it. Crack! As soon as the memory celestial talisman shattered, Duan Tian could clearly feel that the memory celestial talisman contained a vast amount of information. Inside the memory immortal talisman, a tremendous amount of information flowed into his mind through his divine sense, as if it had become a part of his memory. The celestial pills in the Devata realms are divided into primitive celestial pills, mediocre celestial pills, prominent celestial pills, and supreme celestial pills. Any primitive celestial alchemist can refine primitive celestial pills. Some primitive celestial alchemists with high alchemy skills might even be able to refine 1 or 2 mediocre celestial pills if they're lucky. However, The success rate for primitive celestial alchemists to refine mediocre celestial pills is extremely low. There are mediocre celestial alchemists, prominent celestial alchemists, and supreme celestial alchemists. Similar to how primitive celestial alchemists refine mediocre celestial pills, it's difficult for mediocre celestial alchemists and prominent celestial alchemists to refine prominent celestial pills and supreme celestial pills. This is especially true for supreme celestial pills. In the spirit overarching heaven, no prominent celestial alchemist is capable of refining supreme celestial pills no matter how smooth the process is. However, there are cases of prominent celestial alchemists being able to refine supreme celestial pills in other Devata realms. The memory celestial talisman in Duan Lingtian's hand contain the grade of celestial pills and the grade of the celestial alchemists who refined the celestial pills. Naturally, the grade of the celestial alchemist was also recorded in the memory celestial talisman. Celestial alchemist, Duan Lingtian's eyes flashed as he brought out another memory celestial talisman and sent his divine consciousness into it. As soon as the memory celestial talisman shattered, another wave of information entered Duan Lingtian's mind through his divine consciousness and became part of Duan Lingtian's memories. The celestial weapons in the Devata realms are divided into primitive celestial weapons, mediocre celestial weapons, prominent celestial weapons, and supreme celestial weapons. The memory celestial talisman contained information about celestial weapons and celestial weapons craftsmen. It was similar to the information about celestial pills and celestial alchemists that Duan Lingtian had learned. Similar to celestial alchemists, celestial weapons craftsmen were divided into primitive celestial weapons craftsmen, mediocre celestial weapons craftsmen, prominent celestial weapons craftsmen, and supreme celestial weapons craftsmen. This memory celestial talisman records how to become a celestial alchemist and celestial weapons craftsman. Soon after, Duan Lingtian took out another memory celestial talisman and inserted his divine consciousness into it. If one wants to become a celestial alchemist or a celestial weapon craftsman, apart from studying pill refinement and weapon crafting, one must also obtain a celestial fire. Duan Lingtian learned from the information recorded in the memory immortal talisman. The biggest difference between celestial alchemists and celestial weapons craftsmen in the Devata realms and celestial weapons craftsmen in the mundane realms was that the celestial alchemists and celestial weapons craftsmen in the Devata realms were much stronger than the celestial alchemists and celestial weapons craftsmen in the mundane realms. The latter could directly use his own strength to condense pill fire or weapon fire. The former, on the other hand, could only refine pills and refine weapons after obtaining the celestial fire. Celestial fires are considered natural treasures in the Devata realms. The higher the grade, the rarer they are. Moreover, there are many types of celestial fires. They can be divided into two types, gentle and violent. Chapter 26-24. Alchemy and weapons crafting in the Devata realms are really amazing. If one doesn't obtain a celestial fire, no matter how deep one's knowledge of alchemy and weapons crafting is, it's impossible for one to become a celestial alchemist or weapons craftsman. Besides that immortal flame is actually a treasure of the heavens and earth, like immortal herbs, immortal fruits, and so on and so forth. It might be born from underground magma, or it might be born from piercingly cold wind valleys, or it might even be born from deep-sea rivers. Truly miraculous. Duan Lingtian sighed inwardly as he read the information that seemed to have become a part of his memory. However, since celestial fires are treasures, how can they be treasures? After a person obtains it, can it be snatched away by others? Out of curiosity, Duan Lingtian continued to read the additional information in his memory. Once a celestial fire has acknowledged someone as its master, it's impossible for others to take it away unless that person is willing to surrender the celestial fire. Once a celestial alchemist or celestial weapon craftsman dies, the celestial fire in their body will dissipate as well. In fact, they can detonate their celestial fire to severely injure their enemy or even perish together with their enemy. Naturally, the power of a celestial fire depends on the grade of the celestial fire. For example, once a supreme celestial fire of a supreme celestial alchemist or a supreme celestial weapon craftsman explodes, Even an ordinary celestial king would die if they were within 1,000 meters of the explosion point. At this moment, Duan Lingtian discovered that celestial fires were divided into different grades as well. There were primitive celestial fires, mediocre celestial fires, prominent celestial fires, and supreme celestial fires. Naturally, there were many types of celestial fires. In fact, some celestial fires had yet to be discovered. Supreme celestial alchemists and supreme celestial weapons craftsmen. Even if their cultivation bases are not high, celestial kings still have to be respectful to them. After all, if they detonate their celestial fires, even a celestial king would die. Even if they're only primitive celestial alchemists and celestial weapons craftsmen, once they detonate their celestial fires, all great overarching golden celestials within 1,000 meters will either die or be severely injured. Duan Lingtian could not help but gasp when he reached this part of the information. Only then did he realize what kind of existence was the spirit containment pill that he had consumed. Even if that person's cultivation base was not at the level of a great overarching golden celestial, once he chose to ignite the primitive celestial fire in his body, all great overarching golden celestials within 1,000 meters of him would either die or be crippled. Immortal fire. I wonder if I'll be lucky enough to encounter one in the future. Duan Lingtian's eyes flashed as he realized the fearsomeness of the immortal fire. His eyes were filled with anticipation. This memory immortal talisman seems to be recording information related to refining pills and weapons. Soon after, Duan Lingtian took out another memory celestial talisman. The memory immortal talisman contained information on how a celestial alchemist and celestial weapon craftsman should refine pills and herbs. It also contained theories on how to refine pills and herbs and how to refine weapons and pills. However, even with this basic theory, Duan Lingtian could not help but be stunned. This theory, I don't think it's as brilliant as the theories of alchemy and equipment forging that I came across in the mundane realms and the mortal continent. As Duan Lingtian continued reading, he discovered a problem. In the Devata realms, the standards of refining pills and forging weapons were not much higher than those in the mundane realms. In fact, based on the memories he obtained from the reincarnation Emperor Wu, he could easily refine primitive celestial pills, primitive celestial weapons, mediocre-grade celestial pills, mediocre-grade celestial weapons, mediocre-grade celestial pills, mediocre-grade celestial weapons, mediocre-grade celestial pills, mediocre-grade celestial weapons, and even prominent celestial pills and celestial weapons in the Devata realms. In other words, as long as I can obtain a suitable celestial fire and the appropriate materials, I'll be able to refine all celestial weapons apart from supreme-grade celestial weapons. As long as I can obtain a suitable celestial fire and the appropriate pill formulas and materials, I'll be able to refine all celestial pills apart from supreme-grade celestial pills. Naturally, with the knowledge I obtained from the reincarnation Emperor Wu's memories, it won't be difficult for me to master the method to refine supreme-grade celestial pills and celestial weapons. Duan Lingtian could not help but feel excited when he thought about this. He felt as though he had taken a shortcut. However, even if my pill refinement and weapons crafting skills from the mundane realms are considered good in the Devata realms, it's useless if I don't have a celestial fire. Duan Lingtian felt as though a bucket of cold water had been splashed on his head when he thought about this. A celestial fire is much rarer than ordinary treasures. It's hard to come by. Duan Lingtian sighed. He no longer paid attention to the information about pill refinement and medicine refinement. Instead, he took out a memory celestial talisman that contained information about celestial methods and stored it in his memory. Duan Lingtian had already learned about the grades of celestial methods. He wanted to know more about the types of celestial methods. Apart from offensive celestial methods, defensive celestial methods, and movement celestial methods, there's also assistive celestial methods. However, assistive celestial methods are different from assistive divine abilities. The latter is usually used to increase the strength of one's celestial origin energy, while the former is used to harass or restrain one's opponent. For example, some assistive celestial methods can condense celestial origin energy into a long rope to bind one's opponent or form a cage to bind one's opponent. It can also be used with one's soul energy to create an environment that can trap one's opponent. After reading for a while, Duan Lingtian gained a general understanding of assistive celestial methods. As for divine abilities, there was no need for him to learn about them for the time being. There's also the celestial talisman. Duan Lingtian took out a memory celestial talisman and began to learn about the celestial talismans that were similar to the Tao talismans in the mundane realms. Celestial talismans were similar to Tao talismans. However, they were usually inscribed on jade tokens, so they were more effective. There are many types of celestial talismans. There are offensive celestial talismans, defensive celestial talismans, movement celestial methods, and assistive celestial methods. The assistive celestial talismans I've come across are the memory celestial talismans and the floating image celestial talismans. The floating image celestial talisman was similar to the mirror image talisman in the mundane realms. It was capable of recording mirror images. Unlike the mirror image talisman, the floating image celestial talisman could not only record and display images, but it could also record and display sounds from the images. This was something the mirror image talisman in the mundane realms could not do. The mirror image talisman could only record mirror images, not voice. As expected, there are minor-major floating image celestial talismans that are similar to the minor-major mirror image talismans in the mundane realms. However, the value of these minor-major floating image celestial talismans is much higher than ordinary floating image celestial talismans. No wonder Yang Kongping, the chiliarch of the Silverworm army, didn't recognize me when I first met him. I thought the scene of his centurions dying in the celestial ascension pool would have been transmitted to him through a celestial talisman similar to the minor-major mirror image talisman. However, it seems like a mere centurion of the Silverworm army doesn't have a minor-major floating image celestial talisman. In fact, even the captains of the Black Dragon Army and the Silverworm Army don't have a minor-major floating image celestial talisman. After all, Commander Chen didn't give me a minor-major floating image celestial talisman after I became a captain of the Black Dragon Army. It's no wonder Commander Chen doesn't know how Huang Jiabing, a captain of the Black Dragon Army, died. As it turns out, Huang Jiabing doesn't have a minor-major floating image celestial talisman. As soon as Duan Lingtian thought to himself, a loud and energetic voice rang in his ears. "Brother Lingtian, I heard you've come out of closed-door cultivation, and you even went out?" Duan Lingtian could tell the voice belonged to Lu Fenggu, the city governor of Bloody Spectre City. Moreover, Lu Fenggu had changed the way he addressed Duan Lingtian from Captain Duan to Brother Lingtian. This had unknowingly shortened the distance between them. Based on the voice, Duan Lingtian could tell Lu Fenggu was currently in the courtyard. City Governor. Duan Lingtian did not continue reading the information he had retrieved from the memory celestial talisman. He opened the door and walked out of his room before he sat down at a stone table with Lu Fenggu. "Did you gain anything from your closed-door cultivation?" Lu Fenggu asked as he looked at Duan Lingtian with a burning gaze. Duan Lingtian, naturally, noticed the anticipation in Lu Fenggu's eyes. He smiled faintly and said, "It's all thanks to the city governor's cultivation room that I managed to break through and become a violet moon heavenly celestial in just a few months." Violet moon heavenly celestial. Lu Fenggu was stunned when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. He did not regain his senses for a long time. When he heard that Duan Lingtian had come out of closed-door cultivation, he had given up on the thought of Duan Lingtian becoming a violet moon heavenly celestial. He only hoped that Duan Lingtian was close to becoming a violet moon heavenly celestial. After all, he did not think Duan Lingtian would be able to become a violet moon heavenly celestial even if he spent half a year cultivating. However, Duan Lingtian had come out of closed-door cultivation in just 5 months. Lu Fenggu was certain Duan Lingtian would not be able to break through again. However, he did not expect Duan Lingtian would say he had broken through and become a violet moon heavenly celestial. "It seems like I've placed my bet on the right person this time." After a long while, Lu Fenggu finally regained his senses. A hint of excitement could be seen in his eyes as he sighed inwardly. The higher Duan Lingtian's innate talent was, the faster his cultivation base would improve, and the sooner he would be able to exact his revenge. City Governor. When Duan Lingtian recalled he had learned about the child-mother floating image celestial talisman, he looked at Lu Fenggu and asked, Do you have the child mother floating image celestial talisman with the commanders of the Black Dragon Army and the Silverworm Army? Chapter 26-25.
Yes.
Although Lu Fenggu did not know why Duan Lingtian would ask such a question, he still nodded in response. His subordinates, the Black Dragon Army and the Silverworm Army, each had a minor floating image celestial talisman that he had given to them. This was so he would know immediately if they were killed. Moreover, he would be able to see the scene and hear the voices through the major floating image celestial talisman. After I became a captain of the Black Dragon Army, Commander Chen didn't give me a minor floating image celestial talisman. Did he forget to give it to me? Or did the other captains of the Black Dragon Army not have one? Duan Lingtian asked. Brother Lingtian, do you think the minor floating image celestial talismans are as common as cabbages? Lu Fenggu smiled wryly. I know there are Dao talismans similar to the minor floating image celestial talismans in the mundane realms. However, those Dao talismans are only useful in the mundane realms. They're useless in the Devata realms. Moreover, those who meet the requirements to ascend to the Devata realms won't be able to bring their belongings from the mundane realms to the Devata realms. The minor floating image celestial talismans are different from ordinary floating image celestial talismans. Ordinary floating image celestial talismans are cheap, but the minor floating image celestial talismans are difficult to inscribe and require special materials. I only have a few minor floating image celestial talismans that were given to me by the county governor. Lu Fenggu continued to say, as the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, I've only given the minor floating image celestial talisman to 3 people. They're Chen Xianba, the Black Dragon Army's commander, Miao Lai Long, the Silverworm Army's commander, and Elder Hong, the Golden Serpent Guard's leader. Elder Hong, the leader of the Golden Serpent Guards? Duan Lingtian raised an eyebrow.
Yes.
Lu Fenggu nodded. Elder Hong isn't one of the 18 Golden Serpent Guards under my command. In fact, he's the one who raised the 18 Golden Serpent Guards. They're all his disciples. As for Old Hong, he was the one who followed me from the county governor's estate to Bloody Spectre City. He's also the strongest person under me. He's even stronger than Chen Xianba and Miao Lai Long. The fact that Lu Fenggu even told Duan Lingtian all this showed how much Lu Fenggu valued Duan Lingtian. I see. Duan Lingtian suddenly understood. However, although the mother-child floating image celestial talisman is precious, it's useless in front of a great overarching golden celestial. Even if the victim has a floating image immortal talisman, as long as they are willing, the floating image immortal talisman won't work at all. Lu Fenggu continued to say, for this reason, once you've become a great overarching golden celestial, you'll be able to block the transmission of the floating image celestial talisman to the major floating image celestial talisman. The strength of a zenith heaven golden immortal is extremely terrifying. Lu Fenggu's expression turned grim as he spoke. Great overarching golden celestial. Duan Lingtian's eyes flashed. This was not the first time he had heard of great overarching golden celestials. In fact, when he was still in the mundane realm, he had heard of great overarching golden celestials more than once. He knew great overarching golden celestials could travel between Devata realms and mundane realms. Naturally, even if great overarching golden celestials could travel between Devata realms and mundane realms, very few great overarching golden celestials would do so. This was because once a great overarching golden celestial went to a mundane realm, they would be tainted by the mundane karma, which would affect their cultivation. Those who were lucky would only have their cultivation speed slowed down, but those who were unlucky might not be able to progress any further. Moreover, although you were able to overcome the gap between a heavenly celestial and a golden celestial with your profound celestial methods and divine abilities, that's only because the gap between a violet moon heavenly celestial and a scarlet sun golden celestial is not that big. On the other hand, the gap between a peak golden celestial and a violet sun golden celestial is like a chasm. It can be said that the gap between a violet sun golden celestial and a great overarching golden celestial is huge. For example, if you're a violet moon heavenly celestial, you can easily defeat a scarlet sun golden celestial who has only mastered yellow-grade celestial methods and divine abilities. However, if you're a great overarching golden celestial, You can easily defeat a violet sun golden celestial who has mastered a profound grade celestial method and divine abilities with just the yellow grade celestial methods and divine abilities that you've mastered. Many violet sun golden celestials can't break through and become great overarching golden celestials in their entire lives. Once they break through and become a great overarching golden celestial, it means they've truly become a powerhouse in the Devata realms. Although there's still a huge gap between them and those who are stronger than them, they're strong enough to look down on heavenly celestials and golden celestials. Lu Fenggu's words made Duan Lingtian realize the difference between a great overarching golden celestial and an ordinary golden celestial. That was a gap as wide as a chasm. In the Devata realms, only great overarching golden celestials were considered true powerhouses. City Governor, are there any great overarching golden celestials in Nine Spectres County? Duan Lingtian asked with a solemn expression. Yes. Lu Fenggu nodded. There are two great overarching golden celestials in Nine Spectres County. One of them is our county governor. As for the other person, Lu Fenggu's eyes flashed with hatred when he mentioned the other person. It was as though he was about to devour Duan Lingtian. The other person is the first revered elder who killed your direct disciple and forced you to leave the county governor's mansion in Nine Spectres County to come to Bloody Spectre City. Isn't that the first revered elder? Duan Lingtian smiled wryly. Based on Lu Fenggu's reaction, he could guess who the other great overarching golden celestial in Nine Spectres County was. Yes, it's him. Lu Fenggu took a deep breath to suppress the hatred in his heart before he nodded. A great overarching golden celestial. Governor, you're really good at making things difficult for me. Duan Lingtian shook his head and said. Although Lu Fenggu had promised Duan Lingtian that if he felt that Duan Lingtian should not be killed after he arrived at the county city of Nine Spectres County, it would not be considered a breach of the promise. However, after spending some time with Lu Fenggu, Duan Lingtian had a better understanding of Lu Fenggu's character. Lu Fenggu was most likely not lying to him. There was a high chance that the other person should be killed. For this reason, Duan Lingtian knew he would not be able to escape from this agreement. With your celestial methods, divine abilities, and the ability to steal other people's celestial weapons, you might be able to defeat him even if you haven't become a great overarching golden celestial. With your innate talent, it won't take long for you to break through and become a violet sun golden celestial, a peak golden celestial. As long as you become a violet sun golden celestial, you'll be able to overcome the gap between a golden celestial and a great overarching golden celestial. You'll be able to capture him and bring him to me so I can kill him. Lu Fenggu said confidently. The gap between a great overarching golden celestial and an ordinary golden celestial was huge. However, with the various means that the purple-clad young man had mastered, it was possible for him to cross that gap and defeat a great overarching golden celestial with his cultivation base of an ordinary gold celestial. Governor, you really think highly of me? Duan Lingtian smiled wryly again. It's not that I think highly of you, but you have the potential. Lu Fenggu looked at Duan Lingtian meaningfully before he changed the topic. Brother Lingtian, what did you do after leaving the city governor's estate today? I went to buy some memory celestial talismans that recorded the basic knowledge of the Devata realms. After all, I've just ascended to the Devata realms, so there are many things I don't know yet. Duan Lingtian said. That's true. Lu Fenggu nodded. When I first ascended to the Devata realms, I didn't know much about the Devata realms either. It was only after I completed my service in the celestial stone mine in another city that I regained my freedom that I learned about the Devata realms. The city governor is also an ascender? Duan Lingtian was surprised. Yes. Lu Fenggu nodded. A hint of reminiscence could be seen in his eyes as he said, It's been more than 1,000 years since I ascended to the spirit overarching heaven. At that time, I wasn't as strong as you. I was captured and sent to the celestial stone mine as soon as I ascended. It's been more than 1,000 years, but you still haven't become a great overarching golden celestial? Duan Lingtian did not expect Lu Fenggu had ascended to the spirit overarching heaven for such a long time. Do you think everyone is like you? Lu Fenggu said with a hint of annoyance when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. Even I'm considered one of the most talented ascenders. After ascending for more than 1,000 years, I've already become an indigo sun golden celestial. Back then, it took me a few decades to become an indigo moon heavenly celestial and become a violet moon heavenly celestial. However, it only took you a few months. Although the cultivation environment and resources I enjoyed back then were not as good as yours, your innate talent is heaven-defying compared to those who have ascended from the mundane realms. Lu Fenggu continued to praise Duan Lingtian for his heaven-defying innate talent. Even though I've ascended to the spirit overarching heaven for more than 1,000 years, I've never heard of anyone who managed to break through from an indigo moon heavenly celestial to a violet moon heavenly celestial in just a few months. Apart from that, I've never heard of anyone with monstrous innate talent in the Devata realms who managed to break through 2 cultivation bases in such a short time. Lu Fenggu continued to say. Lu Fenggu was shocked by Duan Lingtian's innate talent. Upon hearing Lu Fenggu's words, Duan Lingtian smiled faintly. He was not surprised by Lu Fenggu's words. After all, he had 99 heavenly veins. He was not an ordinary celestial. City Governor. Chapter 26:26. Celestial Fire? Lu Fenggu's eyes widened when he heard Duan Lingtian's question. It was as though he was very sensitive to the words celestial fire. Duan Lingtian was stunned. He could not figure out why Lu Fenggu would have such a reaction. After a while, Lu Fenggu regained his senses and nodded. A celestial fire is the foundation of a celestial alchemist and a celestial weapon craftsman. Are you interested in a celestial fire, Brother Lingtian? Yes. Duan Lingtian nodded. When I was in the mundane realm, I used to be an alchemist and a weapon craftsman. Through the memory celestial talisman, I learned about alchemy and weapon crafting in the Devata realms. I discovered that the alchemy and weapon crafting techniques in the mundane realms are similar to the alchemy and weapon crafting techniques in the Devata realms. In fact, I can use the alchemy and weapon crafting techniques in the mundane realms to refine pills and weapons in the Devata realms. Duan Lingtian nodded. Indeed, it's possible. Lu Fenggu nodded. There are many outstanding celestial alchemists and celestial weapons craftsmen in the Devata realms. They're only able to stand out because of their foundation in alchemy and weapons crafting in the mundane realms. In the Devata realms, although there are differences in pill refinement and weapon forging techniques, the most important thing is still the celestial fire. Without a celestial fire, it's impossible for you to become a celestial alchemist and celestial weapon craftsman no matter how skilled you are. Lu Fenggu said. Brother Lingtian, let's put aside the fact that a celestial fire is hard to come by. What's the highest grade of celestial pills and celestial weapons you can refine in the Devata realms with your alchemy and weapon crafting techniques? Lu Fenggu asked. Many people who had ascended to the Devata realms had high attainments in pill refinement and weapon crafting. Once they obtained a high-grade celestial fire, they would be able to refine mediocre celestial pills, mediocre celestial weapons, and even prominent celestial pills and celestial weapons. Naturally, there were very few people who were able to refine prominent celestial pills and celestial weapons in the mundane realms. They were as rare as phoenix feathers and Qilin horns. I don't have a problem refining prominent celestial pills and celestial weapons. As for the method to refine supreme celestial pills and celestial weapons, I'll have to continue studying it. I don't think I need to refine it. I need to refine it. Duan Lingtian said he did not feel there was a need to conceal it. After all, without a celestial fire, he would still Lingtian Woodwood's celestial had Fenggu's Lu Feng's knowledge was a all alchemist. It was the speaker had no intention of speaking, but the listener had the heart. He Fenggu heard done. S heard duas he Luli heard duas soon as he said S. He was he. He Duan was there Duan Lingtian? For this reason, he was shocked by Duan Lingtian's words. It should be noted that those who had just ascended to the Devata realms who were capable of refining prominent celestial pills and prominent celestial weapons were extremely rare even if they did not possess a celestial fire. Duan Lingtian's cultivation innate talent could be said to be heaven-defying, and it had already shocked him greatly. He was shocked by Duan Lingtian's alchemy and weapon crafting techniques. Unfortunately, without a celestial fire, it's impossible for me to study the method to refine supreme celestial pills and celestial weapons. Duan Ling Tian sighed. Brother Ling Tian. Lu Fenggu narrowed his eyes as his expression turned solemn. It was as though he had made up his mind. Duan Ling Tian looked at Lu Fenggu in confusion. He had also noticed Lu Fenggu's strange expression. After you've avenged me, I'll give you a clue about the celestial fire. I'll tell you where it is, and you can go and collect it. Moreover, the celestial fire might not be as simple as a primitive celestial fire. It might be a mediocre celestial fire. Lu Fenggu said solemnly as he looked at Duan Ling Tian. You have a clue about the celestial fire? Moreover, it might be a mediocre celestial fire? Duan Ling Tian was shocked when he heard Lu Fenggu's words. He did not expect Lu Fenggu would have a clue about the celestial fire. Moreover, the celestial fire might be a mediocre celestial fire. After recovering from his surprise, Duan Ling Tian's eyes lit up like two dazzling stars in the night sky.
Yes.
Lu Fenggu nodded. I obtained this clue by accident before I left the county city of Nine Spectres County. I've been to the place where the celestial fire is hidden, but I didn't have the ability to obtain it. I think one would have to be a great overarching golden celestial to obtain the celestial fire. Although I didn't manage to obtain the celestial fire, I set up a few concealment formations at the place where the celestial fire is hidden. Unless one's a great overarching golden celestial or stronger uses their divine consciousness to search the area, it's impossible to find it. Lu Fenggu continued to say, at that time, when I discovered I didn't have the ability to obtain the celestial fire, I thought of telling Lord County Governor about it. However, my direct disciple was killed by Zhou Tong, the revered elder of the county governor's estate. Lu Fenggu's eyes flashed with rage when he reached the end of his sentence. I went to look for Lord County Governor and asked him for help. I had already planned to tell Lord County Governor about the celestial fire if he was willing to stand up for my direct disciple. However, for the sake of the bigger picture, Lord County Governor only said a few words to Zhou Tong. Naturally, I knew I had no choice but to do so even if I were Lord County Governor. After all, Zhou Tong was the strongest revered elder in the county governor's estate. He was second only to Lord County Governor in Nine Spectres County. After that, I was forced to leave by Zhou Tong. Although I don't resent Lord County Governor, I didn't intend to tell him about the celestial fire. I kept it in my heart and thought I'd obtain the celestial fire if I had the chance to break through and become a great overarching golden celestial. Lu Fenggu paused for a moment before he continued to speak. For this reason, after I came to Bloody Spectre City, I searched for a lot of memory celestial talismans that were related to pill refinement and weapon forging. However, before I obtained the celestial fire, I didn't know how to refine pills or forge weapons. I could only understand some theories. Lu Fenggu could not help but smile bitterly as he continued to say, at that time, I regretted not studying alchemy and equipment crafting when I was still in the mundane realm. Since you want the celestial fire, why are you telling me about the celestial fire now? Moreover, you promised that you'll tell me the location of the celestial fire if I help you take revenge? Duan Ling Tian asked curiously. The reason I told you about the celestial fire is because Lu Fenggu replied bluntly to Duan Ling Tian's question. First, it's because I don't know if I'll be able to become a great overarching golden celestial in the future. If I don't, I can only keep the secret to myself or let someone else take advantage of it. Second, it's because your pill refinement and weapon forging skills are not low. Moreover, your innate talent is heaven-defying. Your future is limitless. Giving you the celestial fire is a form of good karma between us. Perhaps I'll be able to benefit more from this than if I were to obtain the celestial fire. Lu Fenggu's words were frank and straightforward, without any intention of hiding anything. When he looked at Duan Ling Tian again, a gleam of wisdom flashed in his eyes at the right time. City Governor, after hearing your words, I wish I could grow a pair of wings and fly to the county governor's estate in Nine Spectres County to capture revered elder Zhou Tong and bring him to you for you to deal with. Duan Ling Tian smiled wryly. The celestial fire was too tempting for him. With your current cultivation base, even if you're stronger than most golden celestials, you're still not strong enough to deal with Zhou Tong. For this reason, even if you go to the county governor's estate in Nine Spectres County, You won't be able to avenge me in a short time. Lu Fenggu shook his head. I know. However, the celestial fire is too tempting for me. Moreover, you said the celestial fire is likely to be a mediocre celestial fire. Duan Lingtian said with a sigh. If a person possessed a primitive celestial fire, it meant that he possessed the ability to deter almost all great overarching golden celestials. He would be able to make great overarching golden celestials hesitate to act against him. If a person possessed a mediocre celestial fire, they would be able to deter overarching heavenly supreme celestials who were stronger than great overarching golden celestials. If a mediocre celestial alchemist or celestial weapons craftsman decided to die together with an overarching heavenly supreme celestial, they would only have to detonate their mediocre celestial fire when they were within 1,000 meters of the overarching heavenly supreme celestial. An ordinary overarching heavenly supreme celestial would not be able to resist the power of a mediocre celestial fire. On the other hand, a powerful overarching heavenly supreme celestial might be able to resist the power of a mediocre celestial alchemist, but they would still have to pay a heavy price. In Duan Lingtian's opinion, the celestial fire was not a mediocre celestial alchemist. Not only could the celestial fire be used to refine celestial pills and celestial weapons, but it could also be used to intimidate great overarching golden celestials and overarching heavenly supreme celestials. Indeed, it's very likely to be a mediocre celestial fire. However, I'm not 100% certain. I just feel like it's very different from the primitive celestial fires I've heard about. It's not as simple as a primitive celestial fire, Lu Fenggu said. Duan Lingtian nodded. It's very different from a primitive celestial fire? Then, is it different from a prominent celestial fire or a supreme celestial fire? Duan Lingtian asked anxiously. Brother Lingtian, Lu Fenggu said with a wry smile. Lu Fenggu said with a wry smile on his face. I've only heard of primitive celestial fires. I haven't even heard of mediocre celestial fires, let alone prominent celestial fires and supreme celestial fires. If that's the case, does this mean the celestial fire might be a prominent celestial fire or a supreme celestial fire? Chapter 26-27. I don't think so. Lu Fenggu was shocked when he heard Duan Lingtian's words. With his strength at that time, he could not even get close to the celestial fire hidden in that place, let alone take it for himself. However, he did not expect the celestial fire to be so powerful. The celestial fire must be a prominent celestial fire, or even a supreme-grade celestial fire. As far as Duan Lingtian knew, only great overarching golden celestials and above could get close to some of the rarer primitive celestial fires and take them for themselves. Naturally, primitive celestial fires were rare. Ordinary golden immortals would be able to obtain an inferior-grade immortal fire with their bare hands after discovering it. The entire process was very simple. However, he did not know much about mediocre-grade celestial fires. However, in Duan Lingtian's opinion, since it was a mediocre celestial fire, it was much more difficult to obtain than a primitive celestial fire. It was not surprising that only great overarching golden celestials were capable of obtaining it. For this reason, he told Duan Lingtian, the celestial fire is a rare celestial fire. The celestial fire he discovered was most likely a mediocre-grade celestial fire. Of course, it was only a possibility. He was not 100% sure. After all, only great overarching golden celestials, or stronger, could take away primitive celestial fires. City Lord, now that I've said this, do you regret telling me about the immortal fire? Duan Lingtian asked with a smile on his face. There's nothing to regret. Lu Fenggu shook his head. It's unlikely that the celestial fire is a prominent celestial fire, or even a supreme-grade celestial fire. Even if it is, I might not be able to take it. After all, I might not even be able to become a great overarching golden celestial in the future. On this point, I am well aware of my own limitations. If it's a prominent celestial fire, or even a supreme-grade celestial fire, even a great overarching golden celestial might not be able to take it, let alone me. Lu Fenggu could not help but laugh at himself when he reached the end of his sentence. It doesn't matter if the celestial fire is a primitive, mediocre, prominent, or supreme celestial fire? I'm very interested in it. Duan Lingtian's eyes suddenly narrowed as a look of anticipation flashed through his eyes. He didn't hide his desire to obtain the immortal flame's core. With Brother Ling Tian's current strength, it's impossible for you to obtain the celestial fire even if you go to that place. Perhaps you'll be able to obtain the celestial fire when you're strong enough to defeat Zhou Tong. Lu Fenggu said with a smile. In the end, the city lord is still anxious to take revenge. Duan Lingtian looked at Lu Fenggu deeply before he asked, Governor, if I go to the county governor's estate and discover that Zhou Tong isn't someone who should be killed as you said, and our deal is voided, will you not tell me the location of the celestial fire? Don't worry. Lu Fenggu smiled confidently. The deal between us won't be voided. In his opinion, if Zhou Tong was not someone who deserved to be killed, then there were probably not many people in the world who deserved to be killed. After a short while, Lu Fenggu bade farewell and left. Duan Lingtian returned to his room and continued to read the memory celestial talismans he had bought in Bloody Spectre City. Inscribing an immortal talisman is not as troublesome as refining pills and refining artifacts. One must first obtain a heavenly treasure like an immortal fire that can only be found by chance. As long as golden immortals and above are willing to spend some time studying it, they can inscribe immortal talismans on their own. For example, memory celestial talismans and ordinary floating image celestial talismans. As long as an ordinary golden immortal knows the runes of the corresponding celestial talismans, they can easily inscribe them. As for the mother-child floating image celestial talismans, although ordinary golden immortals can inscribe them, the materials required to inscribe them are too rare and precious. Soon after, Duan Lingtian gained a deeper understanding of the celestial talismans in the Devata realms. Whether it's the memory celestial talismans or the floating image celestial talismans, they're only assist-type celestial talismans. As for the offensive, defensive, and movement celestial talismans, they can only be inscribed by great overarching golden immortals. The higher the grade of the celestial talismans, the more powerful they are. Moreover, some high-grade celestial talismans can be used to save one's life at a critical moment. Naturally, some powerful offensive celestial talismans can also be used to kill. For example, many young celestials with powerful backgrounds have powerful celestial talismans inscribed by their seniors to save their lives at a critical moment. After learning about the celestial talismans, Duan Lingtian shifted his attention to the information recorded in the other memory celestial talismans. In the Devata realms, there's no distinction between Dao cultivators and martial cultivators. This is because some of the powerful celestial methods and divine abilities in the Devata realms can draw upon the heaven and earth energy to attack, unlike in the mundane realms. There's also the heavenly veins. Those who possess 81 or more heavenly veins are all extremely talented. Their cultivation speed is not something ordinary celestials can compare to. In the mundane realms, those who possess 81 or more heavenly veins are as rare as phoenix feathers and Qilin horns. However, that's not the case in the Devata realms. In fact, some natives have 81 or more saint veins due to their good genes. Duan Lingtian was shocked. As expected of the Devata realms, to think that 81 heavenly veins is so common in the Devata realms. Duan Lingtian could not help but sigh. The number of heavenly veins affects one's cultivation speed and the speed at which one can mobilize one's celestial origin energy. Those with more heavenly veins have an advantage in both aspects. However, in the Devata realms, having more heavenly veins doesn't necessarily mean you'll be able to surpass those who don't have as many heavenly veins. There are all kinds of fortuitous encounters in the Devata realms, and anything is possible. In fact, some heavenly emperors who rule over Devata realms don't even have 81 heavenly veins. Having more heavenly veins only means one has a higher starting point. Most of the time, one has to rely on oneself and fortuitous encounters in the future. After reading the information, Duan Lingtian put away the feeling of superiority he had since he ascended to the spirit overarching heaven because he possessed 99 heavenly veins. No wonder Senior Feng Qingyang was able to make a name for himself in the Devata realms in just 100,000 years, even though he only has 81 heavenly veins. He even became a heavenly emperor who rules over one of the 81 Devata realms, the solitary destructive heaven. When Duan Lingtian was still in the mundane realm, he had heard that Sword Saint Feng Qingyang possessed 81 saint veins. The saint veins in the mundane realm he came from were the heavenly veins in the Devata realms. If it wasn't for me, I'm sure Senior Feng Qingyang would still be in the solitary destructive heaven, enjoying his position as the heavenly emperor. Now, he's trapped in the Azura Hell, one of the 7 deadliest places in the Devata realms. I don't even know if he's dead or alive. Furthermore, that place, even if a heavenly emperor goes in, it's close to certain death. Duan Lingtian closed his eyes as he thought about this. He clenched his fists tightly as his body trembled violently. If anything happens to Senior Feng Qingyang, Yun Qingyin, I'll tear you to pieces and burn your bones to ashes. Duan Lingtian abruptly opened his eyes that were filled with extreme hatred. When he opened his mouth to speak, he let out a hysterical roar that was close to gnashing his teeth. A month later, 3 figures shot out of Bloody Spectre City like 3 bolts of lightning and left the city. The leader of the trio was an old man dressed in a long gray robe. The old man had a medium build and an ordinary appearance. However, his movements exuded an otherworldly aura. The old man led the way. 2 young men followed closely behind him. Of these 2 young men, one wore purple clothes and the other wore black clothes. Both of them were tall, had distinct facial features, and were handsome. Moreover, their faces revealed a bit of coldness, and it was as if they kept others 1,000 miles away. The trio was none other than Duan Lingtian, Qin Yu, and the special envoy from the county city of 9 Spectres County. The special envoy from the county governor's estate was the gray-clad old man who led the way. He had arrived early in the morning. After declining the city governor's invitation to stay a night in Bloody Spectre City, he led Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu out of Bloody Spectre City in the direction of the county city of 9 Spectres County. Qin Yu, I've read the memory immortal talisman that City Governor Liu gave me about you. Half a year ago, you were only a centurion of the Black Dragon Army under the command of Bloody Spectre City? Suddenly, the old man who was leading the way turned around and looked at Qin Yu, who was beside Duan Lingtian. Yes, Qin Yu nodded. I've long heard that Bloody Spectre City has close to 10 golden immortals under the age of 100. I didn't expect that one of the 2 spots to go to the county governor's estate would be obtained by someone who was only a centurion of the Black Dragon Army half a year ago. How rare. You're not bad at all. The old man praised Qin Yu as he reached the end of his sentence. Thank you for your praise, special envoy. Qin Yu's originally calm face slightly squeezed out a smile. The old man nodded at Qin Yu before he shifted his gaze to Duan Lingtian. Upon seeing this, Duan Lingtian raised his eyebrows slightly. He thought to himself, since the city governor gave the special envoy a memory immortal talisman about Qin Yu, he must have also given the special envoy a memory immortal talisman about me. I wonder, how did the city governor introduce me in the memory immortal talisman? Although he did not know how Lu Fenggu had introduced him in the memory immortal talisman, he knew Lu Fenggu would not harm him. After interacting with Lu Fenggu, he was certain Lu Fenggu was not a despicable person. Chapter 26-28. Duan Lingtian, City Governor Liu said in the Memory Celestial Talisman that you only joined the Black Dragon Army half a year ago. Moreover, as soon as you joined the Black Dragon Army, you killed a centurion who's a golden celestial with a single blow. Then, in a restaurant in Bloody Spectre City, you severed the arm of Yang Kongping, a chiliarch of the Silverworm Army. Yang Kongping is one of the top 3 chiliarchs in the Silverworm Army. He's an orange sun golden celestial. The old man leading the way in front, who was also the county governor's estate's special envoy, glanced deeply at Duan Lingtian as he spoke. It's precisely because of this that City Governor Liu directly reserved a spot for you. It's clear that City Governor Liu thinks highly of you. It's all thanks to the city governor's kindness. Duan Lingtian replied humbly. You don't have to be humble. The old man smiled faintly. The fact that you're able to defeat an orange sun golden celestial who's one of the top 3 Kiliarchs in the Silverworm army when you're not even 100 years old shows that you're one of the strongest golden celestials in Bloody Spectre City. City Governor Lu has always been a steady person. You're worthy of being given a spot in the Black Dragon army. When the old man finished speaking, he looked at Duan Lingtian with a hint of approval in his eyes. In his opinion, Duan Lingtian was very confident. Based on Duan Lingtian's battle results, he was certain Duan Lingtian was the strongest golden celestial in Bloody Spectre City. Even Qin Yu, who was standing next to Duan Lingtian, was not a match for Duan Lingtian. Since the old man had only stayed in Bloody Spectre City for a short time, he had not heard the rumor that Duan Lingtian had only ascended to the spirit overarching heaven half a year ago. Of course, even if he had heard the rumor, he would not believe it, just like the majority of the people in Bloody Spectre City. What a joke. A heavenly celestial who had just ascended to the spirit overarching heaven was capable of defeating Yang Kongping, who was ranked in the top 3 among the 10 Kiliarchs of the Silverworm army? Although Duan Lingtian's soul was protected by the defective metal piece, and it was difficult for ordinary people to detect his age through his soul. However, in the Devata realms, powerhouses above the golden celestial realm could determine a person's age based on the aura of their flesh and blood. Because of this, the moment the old man saw Duan Lingtian for the first time, he was certain that Duan Lingtian was not an ordinary person. Duan Lingtian was indeed less than 100 years old. All of you only know that I'm the special envoy of the county governor's estate, but you don't know my name. My name is Zheng Qiu, and I'm an inner mansion elder of the county governor's estate. The old man's gaze swept past Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu as he unhurriedly introduced himself. An inner mansion elder? Duan Lingtian remained calm when he heard the old man's words, but Qin Yu was shocked. He looked at the old man and said, Elder Zheng Qiu, as far as I know, there are only 13 inner mansion elders in the county governor's estate of the 9 Spectres County. Each of the inner mansion elders is a violet sun golden celestial. After saying those words, Qin Yu once again looked to the old man with a gaze filled with respect. Although he knew the old man was the envoy of the county governor's estate, he did not know the old man was a violet sun golden celestial, an inner estate elder of the county governor's estate. A violet sun golden celestial was a peak golden celestial who was closest to becoming a great overarching golden celestial. Duan Lingtian, on the other hand, remained calm from the beginning until the end. This was because Lu Fenggu, the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, had told him about the old man through voice transmission before he left Bloody Spectre City. For this reason, he knew the old man was an inner mansion elder. The old man was an inner elder of the county governor's estate in 9 Spectres County. Moreover, he was a violet sun golden celestial. It's a long journey from the county city of 9 Spectres County to the 9 cities of 9 Spectres County. It's inevitable that we'll encounter some robbers along the way. Among those robbers, there's no lack of violet sun golden celestials. Zhang Qiu, an inner court elder of the county governor's estate in 9 Spectres County, said, for this reason, all of the people sent by the county governor's estate to the 9 cities in 9 Spectres County are inner court elders. This is to ensure your safety as much as possible. Qin Yu nodded. Elder Zheng Qiu. Duan Lingtian looked at Zheng Qiu and asked curiously, do you know why the county governor's estate is recruiting 2 golden celestials below the age of 100 like me and Qin Yu from the 9 cities of 9 Spectres County? I'm not too sure about the details, but I heard it has something to do with King Qin's mansion. Zheng Qiu replied. Upon hearing Zheng Qiu's words, Duan Lingtian knew he had asked for nothing. After all, Lu Fenggu, the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, had already told him about this. Qin Yu, who was standing next to Duan Lingtian, had a peculiar glint in his eyes when Zheng Qiu mentioned King Qin's mansion. Due to the glint in his eyes, neither Duan Lingtian nor Zheng Qiu noticed it. We were just talking about robbers. I didn't expect that someone would set their sights on us so quickly. Zheng Qiu suddenly turned his head and his gaze fell on the sky in front of him. He seemed to have discovered something and said in a deep voice. At this moment, Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu's eyes shifted to the sky in front of them. However, he discovered that the clouds in front of him were a little different from the clouds in other parts of the sky. Almost immediately after Zheng Qiu, Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu looked at the sky in front of them. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Behind the clouds in the sky in front of them, several figures dashed out and swooped down. In the blink of an eye, they had surrounded the three of them. We've been discovered, as expected of a violet sun golden celestial. When Duan Ling Tian's group of three was surrounded by more than 20 people, two old figures descended from the sky unhurriedly and appeared in the path of Duan Ling Tian's group of three. Surprisingly, they were two old men. One of them was dressed in a black robe, while the other was dressed in a white robe. The old man dressed in a black robe was skinny like a bamboo pole, while the old man dressed in a white robe was fat like a ball. At this moment, both of them were looking at Zheng Qiu. When Qin Yu heard that Zheng Qiu was truly worthy of being a purple sun golden immortal, his expression changed again. Naturally, he knew what this meant. It meant Zheng Qiu was not afraid of a violet sun golden celestial. Even Duan Lingtian was slightly surprised when he heard the old man's words. He thought to himself, are we that lucky? We encountered a violet sun golden celestial so soon after we left Bloody Spectre City? Since great overarching golden celestials did not bother to rob celestials in a small place like Nine Spectres County, Duan Lingtian did not think the two old men were great overarching golden celestials since they were not afraid of Zheng Qiu. However, since they were not afraid of Zheng Qiu, it meant there was a violet sun golden celestial among them. In fact, there might be more than one violet sun golden celestial among them. How dare you show yourself after probing my cultivation base? At the same time, Zheng Qiu looked at the two old men and said in a deep voice, if I'm not mistaken, the two of you must be the famous raiders in Nine Spectres County, the black and white heroes. That's right. You have good eyes. The white-robed old man narrowed his eyes, which were squeezed by the fat on his face. A harmless smile appeared on his face. I've long heard that the black and white heroes are violet sun golden celestials. Moreover, they're very cunning and have 3 burrows. Our county governor's estate has sent people out many times with the intention of eliminating both of you, but it's difficult to track you down. A faint smile appeared on Zheng Qiu's face when he heard the white-clad old man's words. What a coincidence. It seems like I'm in luck. Although there was a smile on his face, Zheng Qiu's eyes flashed with a cold, murderous glint. The county governor's estate? As soon as Zheng Qiu finished speaking, the white-clad old man and the black-clad old man's expressions changed drastically. The expressions of the over 20 people surrounding Duan Ling Tian's group of 3 changed drastically. Moreover, their bodies began to tremble violently due to the shock they received. The county governor's estate. It was one of the most powerful forces in the Nine Spectres County, and it could even be said to be the most powerful force in the county. Over the years, the county governor's estate had sent people to annihilate them many times. As a result, they did not dare to stay in one place for too long. They had only recently arrived in the vicinity of Bloody Spectre City. They did not expect to meet people from the county governor's estate here. Initially, they thought the violet sun golden celestial was a big fish. They did not expect him to be from the county governor's estate. Sir, are you really from the county governor's estate? The black-clad old man took a deep breath before he looked at Zheng Qiu and said, as long as you can show us your identity token, not only will our organization not make things difficult for you, but we're also willing to give you 1,000 mediocre celestial stones as an apology. If they could confirm Zheng Qiu was from the county governor's estate, they could not afford to offend him. Even if Zheng Qiu was weaker than them, they did not dare to kill him. If Zheng Qiu was killed, they would infuriate the county governor's estate. At that time, the county governor's estate might even send great overarching golden celestials to hunt them down. In the past, the county governor's estate could not find them because they did not send great overarching golden celestials. If a great overarching golden celestial were to make a move, unless they left Nine Spectres County, they would be in danger of being discovered. There's no need for that, Zheng Qiu said indifferently. Since the black and white heroes have shown up today, don't even think about leaving. The coldness in Zheng Qiu's eyes intensified when he finished speaking. How boastful of you. The black-clad old man's expression changed drastically when he heard Zheng Qiu's words. He said in a deep voice, Sir, there are 3 of you, and you're the only violet sun golden celestial. If we fight, you might not be a match for us. If you insist on going your own way, don't blame us for ignoring the county governor's estate and killing you. Chapter 26-29. Two Violet Sun Golden Celestials? When Yu heard that the two old men before him, the black and white heroes, were both purple sun golden immortals, Yu's expression changed completely. Even Duan Lingtian had a grave expression on his face when he heard Zheng Qiu's words. However, when he saw Zheng Qiu's reaction, he realized Zheng Qiu was not afraid at all. Zheng Qiu did not seem to be afraid of the two old men, even though they were both Violet Sun Golden Celestials. Based on his words, it was as though he was confident he could kill the two old men on his own. Soon after, Duan Lingtian's expression calmed down. It was not because of Zheng Qiu's confidence, but it was because he was confident in his own strength. Violet Sun Golden Celestials would not be able to kill a Violet Sun Golden Celestial unless they mastered profound-grade celestial methods and divine abilities. Otherwise, with his current strength, he could easily deal with them without using the Devata artifact, the Seven Orifices Exquisite Sword. Even if the Violet Sun Golden Celestials only mastered profound-grade celestial methods and divine abilities, he could easily kill them if he used the Devata artifact, the Seven Orifices Exquisite Sword. Naturally, he would not use the Devata artifact, the Seven Orifices Exquisite Sword, unless it was absolutely necessary. The Seven Orifices Exquisite Sword was his trump card. Unless he had no other choice, he would not reveal it easily. Is that so? Zheng Qiu smiled faintly in the face of the black-robed old man's threat. However, the cold light in his eyes grew stronger and stronger. He shouted sternly, "Let's go," he said coldly. "Go ahead and try." Based on his words, he did not take the black-clad old man's threat seriously at all. "May I know who you are from the county governor's estate?" The white-clad old man's expression changed drastically when he saw Zheng Qiu's domineering attitude. His eyes were filled with fear when he looked at Zheng Qiu again. There were only two possibilities for Zheng Qiu to be so unyielding even after learning their identities. The first possibility was that Zheng Qiu was deliberately mystifying them. The second possibility was that Zheng Qiu was not afraid of them at all. In fact, he was confident he could defeat both of them and kill them. Based on the current situation, the possibility of the first possibility was very slim. Remember, the person who's going to kill you is Zheng Qiu from the county governor's estate of Nine Spectres County. As Zheng Qiu's voice faded, his body suddenly shook again. A powerful and violent energy swept out from his body in a timely manner. Like a tornado, it brought him swiftly towards the black and white duo. Zheng Qiu, the second strongest person below Great Overarching Golden Celestial in Nine Spectres County. As soon as Zheng Qiu finished speaking, the expressions of the black and white duo changed completely. The white-robed old man couldn't help but cry out in alarm. His eyes were filled with fear. Zheng Qiu. He was the inner mansion of the county governor mansion of county. In the entire Nine Spectres County, there was only one person below the great overarching golden celestial realm. The strongest celestial? When Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu heard the white-robed old man's exclamation, they looked at each other and saw the shock in each other's eyes. Because they did not expect the person who was escorting them to the county city of Nine Spectres County would be so powerful. The worried expression on Qin Yu's face disappeared instantly. With such a powerhouse by his side, what was there to be worried about? Lord Zheng Qiu, if you're willing to spare our lives, we're willing to give you our life savings. When the white-robed old man and the black-robed old man saw Zheng Qiu move, they repeatedly cried out as they retreated. Based on their words, they also wanted to use the lifetime savings of the black and white heroes in exchange for their lives. Zheng Qiu snorted when he heard the white-clad old man's words. He said disdainfully, "Lord County Governor has already ordered that whoever kills the black-clad old man and the black-clad old man will have to take everything from the black-clad old man and the black-clad old man. If I kill both of you, your life savings will be mine as well." Zheng Qiu did not give the black-clad old man and the black-clad old man any chance of retreating. "Big brother, since he's unwilling to let us live, let's fight it out with him. I'd like to see if he's worthy of being called the second strongest person in Nine Spectres County after a great overarching golden celestial. The black-clad old man's expression turned cold when he saw Zheng Qiu was not giving them any chance of retreating. All right. At this time, the white-robed old man also knew that he had no other choice. The pair of small eyes behind the fat squinted, and a cold and sharp light flashed through them. Whoosh! Following that, he unleashed his celestial origin energy that he had been accumulating for a long time. All of you, make your move and kill those two brats. Even if we're going to die in Zheng Qiu's hands, we must kill the two brats by his side. The black-clad old man did not forget to order his subordinates as his celestial origin energy surged. Zheng Qiu did not expect the black-clad old man to give such an order. His expression changed immediately. Although he was confident he could kill the black-clad old man and the black-clad old man, it would still take him some time. If the subordinates of the black and white heroes really disregarded their own lives and attacked Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu, whom he was escorting this time, Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu would definitely die. As far as he knew, among the subordinates of the black and white heroes, the weakest was a crimson sun golden celestial while the strongest was a yellow sun golden celestial. Boom! With a boom, Zheng Qiu suddenly came to a halt as he drew closer and closer to the black and white heroes. His vast power slammed into the air, causing a deafening explosion. Then, he suddenly turned around and stared coldly at the 20 or so subordinates of the black and white heroes. He was prepared to kill these 20 or so people first before dealing with the black and white heroes. The expressions of the 20 or so people who were targeted by Zheng Qiu all changed greatly. Haha, Zheng Qiu, it seems that you care a lot about these two brats. When the black-robed old man saw Zheng Qiu's action, he laughed and rushed out with the white-robed old man. They tacitly blocked Zheng Qiu's path. At the same time, they didn't forget to give orders to the group of people under them. Kill them. Don't worry about Zheng Qiu. Zheng Qiu became anxious when he heard the black-robed old man's order. His eyes flashed coldly. My target today is the black and white heroes. As long as you stay where you are and don't act rashly, I'll spare your lives. For the sake of Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu's safety, Zheng Qiu made a compromise with the group of people surrounding the two Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu. As soon as Zheng Qiu finished speaking, the eyes of the people surrounding the two Duan Lingtian brightened. Don't believe his nonsense. The black-robed old man seemed to have noticed his subordinates' hesitation. He said coldly, all of you, quickly kill those two brats and scatter. Big Brother and I will do our best to stop Zheng Qiu, so that all of you have enough time to escape. Zheng Qiu's expression changed drastically when he heard the black-robed old man's words. Kill them. The moment the black-robed old man's words left his mouth, the 20 over people surrounding Duan Lingtian and Duan Lingtian no longer hesitated and instantly made their move. Waves of vast and majestic energy swept toward Duan Lingtian and Duan Lingtian. They trusted the black-robed old man more than Zheng Qiu. You're seeking death. When Zheng Qiu realized it was too late for him to compromise with the black and white heroes, a cold light flashed in his eyes. With a loud shout, the celestial origin energy in his body surged out like a tornado and swept toward the black and white heroes who were blocking his path. Zheng Qiu, this is your own choice. Even if they die, it's your fault. The black-robed old man said with a ruthless expression on his face as he charged toward Zheng Qiu. As for the white-robed old man, he joined the black-robed old man in charging toward Zheng Qiu when he realized there was no way out for him. On the other side, they're all golden celestials? Although Duan Lingtian was surprised by their strength, he was not as terrified as Qin Yu when faced with the attacks from more than 20 people. You're seeking death. Duan Lingtian's eyes turned cold as his celestial origin energy surged out of his body like a fountain through his 99 heavenly veins. It turned into tens of thousands of sword rays that emitted the sound of sword whistling in the air. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. The dazzling sword lights were like dazzling suns when looked at from afar. They were dazzling to the extreme and dazzling to the extreme. Elementary devouring tactic. Sword formation. 13 green lotus swords. Duan Lingtian took out a celestial sword. It was the primitive celestial weapon he had obtained after coming to the spirit overarching heaven. To him, it was already an honor to be able to make him attack the group of people in front of him like this. These people were not worthy of him using the Devata artifact, the seven orifices exquisite sword. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Without using the Devata artifact, the seven orifices exquisite sword, Duan Ling Tian unleashed the sword formation. The 13 golden celestials did not even have time to react before they were killed by Duan Ling Tian. Blood splattered from the sky as though it was raining blood. While Duan Ling Tian was killing the 13 golden celestial raiders, Duan Ling Tian's expression changed drastically. Bang! A loud explosion rang in the air as Qin Yu, who was standing next to Duan Ling Tian, was severely injured by the remaining 11 golden celestials. The follow-up attacks of the 11 golden immortal raiders rained down on him like a downpour. Am I going to die here today? Qin Yu's expression was one of despair. His eyes were filled with reluctance. He still had too many things he wanted to do. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Just when Qin Yu was in despair, at the critical moment, a series of ear-piercing sword whistles entered his ears from afar. Immediately after, he saw a sword flash across the sky before his eyes. Boom, 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 boom. Chapter 26:30. In Qin Yu's eyes, the sword ray that streaked across the sky before his eyes was like a ray of light that lit up the darkness and pulled him out from the abyss of darkness. Duan Ling Tian? When he realized it was Duan Ling Tian who had made the move, he was shocked to see the sword ray. The sword ray that had blocked the attacks of the 11 golden celestials continued to surge forward and shrouded the 11 golden celestials who were charging at him. It was as though a dam had been breached, drowning all of them. No. No. Unlike the dozen or so bandits who were killed by Duan Ling Tian in such a domineering manner, this group of bandits only regained their senses after a while. Faced with Duan Ling Tian's unstoppable sword formation, they could not help but scream in agony. After that, only a rain of blood could be seen falling from the sky. Whoosh! Duan Ling Tian waved his hand, and waves of invisible energy swept out and collected the spatial rings of the 20 over people he had just killed that were shrouded in the bloody mist. All of these could be considered as his spoils of war. How's this possible? Damn it! How can this purple-clad young man be so strong? The black and white heroes, who were retreating under Zheng Qiu's attacks, also discovered that their subordinates had all been killed. For a moment, they took the time to glance at the purple figure not far away, and their eyes simultaneously revealed waves of shock. However, after their shock, they hurriedly recovered from their shock and focused on dealing with Zheng Qiu's attacks, not daring to be distracted again. Thank you, Duan Ling Tian. Qin Yu looked at Duan Ling Tian, and besides the shock in his eyes, he said with a serious expression, I, Qin Yu, owe you a life. It's nothing. Don't mention it. Duan Ling Tian smiled faintly when he heard Qin Yu's words. If it was someone else, I would have saved them too. I know. Qin Yu nodded. However, his gaze was as firm as before. However, this does not affect the fact that I, Qin Yu, owe you a life. Facing the stubborn Qin Yu, Duan Ling Tian shrugged his shoulders somewhat helplessly, but did not say anything more. However, even though he appeared to be helpless, in his heart, he rather admired Qin Yu's stubbornness. At the very least, it can be seen that this Qin Yu was a person who knew how to be grateful. Elder Zheng Qiu's side should be coming to a conclusion soon. A moment later, Duan Ling Tian's gaze landed in the distance. Under Zheng Qiu's relentless barrage of attacks, the black and white heroes were forced to retreat again and again, and it seemed that they would not be able to hold on for much longer. About 15 minutes later, bang, bang, accompanied by two loud sounds, Zheng Qiu had found a flaw in the black and white heroes. He broke through their defenses in one fell swoop and sent the two of them flying, heavily injuring them. PFFF, wah, the black and white heroes, who were heavily injured and sent flying, each spat out a mouthful of blood at the same time. Their sorry figures shot out like arrows from a bow, and they barely managed to stop after a while. Big brother, Let's use soul attacks to kill that purple-clothed brat. Seeing Zhang Qiu chasing after them, the eyes of the black-robed old man, who knew that he would die, suddenly turned cold. He immediately transmitted his voice to the white-robed old man beside him and said in a determined tone, "Okay." The white-robed old man also had the will to die, so he cooperated with the black-robed old man and looked at Duan Lingtian, who was not far away. Duan Lingtian, who was being stared at by the black and white heroes, could not help but be startled for a moment. When he saw the cruel sneers on the black and white heroes' faces, he felt his hair stand on end for a moment, and an ominous premonition faintly rose in his heart. Not good. Zhang Qiu, who was chasing after the black and white heroes, saw that the black and white heroes ignored his attacks and looked at Duan Lingtian in unison. In a moment, he realized what the black and white heroes wanted to do, and his expression changed greatly. Whoosh! Whoosh! Almost as soon as Zhang Qiu's expression changed drastically, the black and white heroes' eyes suddenly narrowed. Then, a dark gray flowing light shot out from between their eyebrows in a very crude and simple direction toward Duan Lingtian. It was the soul attack that they had cast. Whoosh! Although Duan Lingtian had disappeared from his original spot in a flash, the two dark gray flowing lights were still firmly locked onto him. It was as though they would not stop until they entered his body. Moreover, the speed of the two dark gray flowing lights was so fast that it was even faster than the speed at which Duan Lingtian had fled. Duan Lingtian had flashed a few times, but they were getting closer and closer to Duan Lingtian. The two dark flowing lights were about to enter Duan Lingtian's body. Whoosh! Accompanied by the sound of the air being torn apart, another dark gray flowing light shot out. This time, Zhang Qiu had cast a soul attack in an attempt to block the soul attack from the black and white heroes. However, like the black and white heroes, he was not good at soul attacks. Therefore, his soul attack could only block one of the soul attacks from the black and white heroes. Whoosh! The remaining soul attack, the dark gray flowing light, directly entered Duan Lingtian's body. Duan Lingtian. Zhang Qiu's expression changed drastically. The black and white heroes smiled cruelly. When Qin Yu saw the cruel smiles on the black and white heroes' faces, he seemed to have realized something. His expression changed drastically. Duan Lingtian. Just when they thought Duan Lingtian was about to collapse from the soul attack from the purple sun golden celestial, the soul attack from a purple sun golden celestial is indeed fast. Unfortunately, soul attacks of your level are not enough to break through the protection of my soul defense celestial weapon. Not only did Duan Lingtian not fall, but he even glanced at the black and white duo indifferently as he spoke unhurriedly. With the mysterious defective metal piece, he was, naturally, not afraid of the soul attack from the black and white heroes. Earlier, he had moved to dodge the soul attack from the black and white heroes because he wanted to see if he could dodge the soul attack from the black and white heroes. However, he discovered something else. Unless he used the Devata artifact, the Seven Orifices exquisite sword, to help him escape, he would not be able to dodge the soul attack from the black and white heroes. Soul defense celestial weapon? Upon hearing Duan Lingtian's words, the black and white heroes' expressions changed drastically. They were so angry that they threw up another mouthful of blood. Their faces turned even paler. They did not expect this. They did not expect the purple-clad young man next to Zhang Qiu would possess a soul defense celestial weapon. Moreover, the soul defense celestial weapon that could withstand the soul attack from golden celestials was at least a mediocre celestial weapon. Whoosh! 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 Along with the waves of solidified wind blades that were swept up by the tornado, the black and white heroes finally died in Zhang Qiu's hands. Only 2 storage rings were left, and they were pulled into Zhang Qiu's hand by an invisible force that extended out with a raise of his hand. Phew! Qin Yu heaved a long sigh of relief when he saw Duan Lingtian was unharmed. Elder Zhang Qiu. At the same time, Duan Lingtian raised his hand and took out the 20 spatial rings that he had collected earlier. He used an invisible force to pull them toward Zhang Qiu. These are your spoils of war. Keep them for yourself. Zhang Qiu said with a faint smile as he pushed the 20 spatial rings back to Duan Lingtian. At this moment, Zhang Qiu's gaze toward Duan Lingtian was completely different. In the past, Although he knew Duan Lingtian was not weak, he did not expect Duan Lingtian to be so strong. In just a blink of an eye, Duan Lingtian had killed more than 20 subordinates of the Black and White heroes. The strongest subordinate of the Black and White heroes was a yellow sun golden celestial. Even the weakest subordinate was a scarlet sun golden celestial. Duan Lingtian had killed more than 20 golden celestials in one go. Even if the golden celestials were caught off guard, it was not something an ordinary golden celestial could do. At the very least, one had to be a powerful blue sun golden celestial to be able to do this. A blue sun golden celestial who's not even 100 years old. He's definitely the strongest among the 18 people selected from the 9 cities in 9 Spectres County. Even the 12 golden immortals under the age of 100 that our county governor's mansion picked from 9 Spectres County can't compare to him. Zheng Qiu thought to himself. Thank you, Elder Zheng Qiu. When Duan Lingtian saw Zheng Qiu pushing the spatial rings back to him, he quickly put them away and thanked Zheng Qiu. Duan Lingtian, I didn't expect you to be so strong. I thought both of you were going to die at the hands of the Black and White heroes. If that's the case, I won't be able to explain myself to Lord County Governor even if I return to the County Governor's estate. Zheng Qiu sighed as he looked at Duan Lingtian. No matter what, this time, I owe you a favor, Zheng Qiu said. You're too kind, Elder Zheng Qiu. Duan Lingtian shook his head and said, I only did what I did to save my own life. I'm afraid I can't accept your favor, Elder Zheng Qiu. If I say you can accept it, then you can accept it. There's no need for you to decline. Zheng Qiu waved his hand, signaling Duan Lingtian to stop declining. Then, he shook his head and said, I really don't understand. Everyone wants me to owe them a favor. But when it comes to you, you actually want to tactfully reject my favor. Duan Lingtian smiled bitterly, but he did not say anything else. What else could he say at this moment? No matter what, Zheng Qiu wanting to owe him a favor was something that would only benefit him. It could be said that he was taking advantage of the situation. With your innate talent and strength, you'll definitely receive the best treatment in our county governor's mansion. When we arrive at the county governor's mansion, I'll personally look for the county governor and recommend you. I'll do my best to provide you with the best cultivation environment and resources. Zheng Qiu said to Duan Lingtian. Thank you, Elder Zheng Qiu. Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up when he heard Zheng Qiu's words. He thanked Zheng Qiu sincerely. This was what he lacked the most at this moment. Chapter 26:31. Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu continued to follow Zheng Qiu as they made their way to the county city of 9 Spectres County. In the Yun clan in the Divine Offering Land. Young Master. In just a blink of an eye, a travel-worn figure appeared in front of Yun Qingyin, the great young master of the Yun clan, and bowed respectfully. However, upon closer inspection, one could see that the person had a dark expression on his face. The person's expression was unsightly. If Duan Lingtian were here, he would have recognized the person who bowed respectfully to Yun Qingyin as Yunyi was the person who had almost killed him in the Yanhuang realm. His strength was comparable to a heavenly emperor in a Devata realm. Yunyi had been ordered by Yun Qingyin to kill Duan Lingtian. However, he had failed due to Xia Jie, the third master of the Xia clan, and had fled to the Divine Offering Land from Yanhuang realm. What's wrong? Is there a problem? Yun Qingyin frowned when he saw Yun Ye's expression. He knew Yun Yi would not have reacted in such a manner if nothing had happened. Young master, I heard from the Xia clan that Miss Ning Shui has gone to the realm battlefield without telling the clan leader of the Xia clan. Yun Yi said in a deep voice. What? As soon as Yun Yi finished speaking, Yun Qingyan's expression changed drastically. When he looked at Yun Yi again, his eyes gleamed coldly as he asked, Are you sure the news you heard is true? I've confirmed it with a few members of the Xia clan, and it's true. Yun Yi smiled wryly. However, the clan leader of the Xia clan is in the realm battlefield as well. I'm afraid he doesn't know Miss Ning Shui has entered the realm battlefield. After all, the realm battlefield is huge, and there are many entrances. Even if Miss Ning Shui has entered, he wouldn't know. She hasn't recovered her cultivation base, right? With her current strength, even if the weak cultivators in the realm battlefield gather, she'll still die. Why would she enter the realm battlefield for no reason? Yun Qingyin said with a dark expression. Lady Ning Shui is the first lady of the Xia clan, and her status is precious. With her current strength, I'm afraid she only has one reason for going to the planar battlefield. She wants to recover the strength she had in her previous life as soon as possible, or even increase her strength further. Yun Yi speculated. Yun Qingyan's expression darkened when he heard Yun Ye's words. Naturally, he knew Yun Ye's guess was most likely correct. The reason why Xianing Shui went to the planar battlefield and risked her life was most likely because she wanted to increase her strength as quickly as possible. She wanted to have enough strength 1,000 years later to break the engagement between her and him. For the sake of not marrying me, for the sake of that man, you were actually willing to risk your life and enter the planar battlefield. I'm Yun Qingyin. Do you really look down on me? Yun Qingyin gritted his teeth and growled. What the hell? After 1,000 years, the passage between the divine offering land and the Devata realms will open again. At that time, I'll personally go to the Devata realms and find Duanling Tian. I'll tear him into pieces and burn his bones into ashes so you can give up. Yun Qingyin roared as his eyes gleamed with a sharp light that was as sharp as a blade. In the surroundings of these fierce lights, it was as if the flames of hatred were burning. It was like a prairie fire that could burn everything. In the Xia clan, third brother, did you send Ning Shui to the realm battlefield? A tall and sturdy middle-aged man with a face full of curly whiskers asked in a deep voice as he hastily approached Xia Jie, the third master of the Xia clan, who was dressed sloppily. He looked like a furious lion as he glared at Xia Jie and asked in a deep voice, Second brother, what did you say? I don't understand. In the face of the middle-aged man's questioning, Xia Jie merely glanced at him indifferently before he continued to water the flowers. If it weren't for you, no one in the clan would dare to send her to the realm battlefield. With her current strength, it's impossible for her to enter the realm battlefield alone. The middle-aged man was none other than Xia Tai, the second master of the Xia clan. His expression darkened as he spoke. Second brother, there are some things you shouldn't say without evidence. Even if Big Brother is here today, I still don't understand what you're saying, Xia Jie said indifferently. Xia Jie said indifferently. He didn't seem to like his second brother at all. Xia Jie. Xia Tai glared at Xia Jie as he said coldly, I know you hate me and my elder brother for what happened back then. However, I'm asking you about Ning Shui now. There's no need for you to bring your emotions into this, right? Moreover, I ask myself, back then, what Big Brother and I did was for your own good. If that woman didn't die, you would have died. Big Brother and I only did that to protect you. Xia Tai's voice darkened as he spoke. Protect me? Xia Jie raised his head abruptly, revealing his face underneath his messy hair. He sneered as he said, in my opinion, you're only protecting the Xia clan, right? I've already said that I'm willing to leave the Xia clan for her. I won't implicate the Xia clan. However, what did you do? You purposely sent me away and allowed them to take her away and kill her. You should know why I'm still alive. If it wasn't for my desire to avenge her, I wouldn't have survived until now. The mocking expression on Xia Jie's face deepened as he spoke. All right, let's not talk about what happened back then. I'm here to tell you that you're too rash. What kind of place is the realm battlefield? With Ning Shui's current strength, she'll definitely die if she goes there. Xia Tai said in a deep voice, if anything happens to her, you'll be the one who indirectly caused her death. Don't you love her a lot? Why are you so foolish to send her there? As he spoke, the anger that had dissipated from Xia Tai's face resurfaced once again. I'm foolish? Xia Jie sneered. Both of us know that Big Brother is the most foolish one. Shuer has already found a home in this life and even gave birth to a daughter. However, Big Brother still wants her to marry that brat from the Yun clan. Is the clan's interest really more important than his daughter's happiness? Xia Jie asked coldly as he looked at Xia Tai. That's right. I was the one who sent Shuer to the realm battlefield. My happiness has been destroyed by you and the Xia clan. I don't want my niece's happiness to be destroyed by you and the Xia clan as well. When Xia Jie spoke again, he admitted that he was the one who sent Xianing Shui to the realm battlefield. Moreover, I promise Shuer, if anything happens to her in the planar battlefield, 1,000 years later, I will safely send her daughter and her friends back to the mundane plane. Xiajie continued to speak in a resolute and decisive tone. After he finished speaking, he disappeared from Xia Tai's sight in a flash. If you and Big Brother want to stop me from fulfilling Shue's final wish at that time, it'll be the time for us brothers to fall out. You can keep them here, but you'll have to kill me and step over my dead body. Although Xiajie had left, he still left a message for Xia Tai. Upon hearing this, Xia Tai was so angry that his body trembled violently. His bearded face was slightly distorted. It took him a long time to calm down. At the same time, a deep sense of helplessness appeared in his gong-sized eyes. If Big Brother finds out about this, I'm afraid he'll fly into a rage again, right? Xia Tai shook his head with a wry smile on his face. Naturally, Duan Lingtian was unaware of what had happened between the Yun clan and the Xia clan in the Divine Offering Land. At this moment, he was following Zheng Qiu with Qin Yu as they made their way to the county city of Nine Spectres County. There's not even a single pill. While Duan Lingtian was going through the spatial rings of the Golden Celestial Bandits, he discovered that there was not a single pill in the spatial rings. There wasn't even a single pill in the looter's storage rings. It seems like the bottle of primitive spirit-accumulating pills that the city governor gave me is really precious. This made the bottle of pills that Lu Fenggu, the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, had given to Duan Lingtian seem even more precious now. However, although there are no pills in their spatial rings, there are many celestial stones. There are over 100 high-grade celestial stones. As for medium-grade celestial stones, there are even more. As for low-grade celestial stones, there are countless of them. There are also some celestial weapons. There were at least 1 or 2 celestial weapons in each of the spatial rings. The original owners of these spatial rings, the bandits, were killed in just a blink of an eye. They did not even have the time to take out their celestial weapons before they were killed by Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian, are you really an ascender who ascended to the spirit overarching heaven half a year ago, like the Silverworm army said? A voice transmission suddenly sounded in Duan Lingtian's ears. The person who sent the voice transmission was none other than Qin Yu. Duan Lingtian was stunned when he heard Qin Yu's voice transmission. Then, he turned to look at Qin Yu and asked, "Do you believe me?" "I'm not sure if I should believe the Silverworm army's words. However, I believe you," Qin Yu replied. His words were very clear. As long as Duan Lingtian said that he had ascended to the spirit overarching heaven half a year ago, Qin Yu would believe him. If Duan Lingtian denied it, Qin Yu would also believe him. Is this important? When Duan Lingtian replied to Qin Yu through voice transmission, he took a deep look at Qin Yu and asked. It was not that he wanted to hide it. If it was before, he would not feel that there was anything to hide. However, after coming in contact with the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, Qin Yu knew that there was no need to hide it. If this matter were to spread, it would only bring harm to him. In Bloody Spectre City, there was almost no one who could threaten him. Chapter 2632. Is this important? Qin Yu was taken aback when he heard Duan Lingtian's question. Then, he looked at Duan Lingtian intently as a strange light flashed in his eyes. Following that, Qin Yu smiled faintly before he replied to Duan Lingtian through voice transmission. It's not important. Qin Yu's reply ended the conversation. This Qin Yu is not a simple person. As soon as Duan Lingtian saw the strange light in Qin Yu's eyes, he knew Qin Yu was right. Qin Yu was certain Duan Lingtian had ascended to the spirit overarching heaven half a year ago. At the same time, Duan Lingtian must have guessed the reason Qin Yu was so strong. Duan Lingtian, and Duan Lingtian did not encounter any bandits on their way to the county city of Nine Spectres County after encountering the black and white heroes. Duan Lingtian was not surprised by this. With the presence of Zheng Qiu, a violet sun golden celestial, the bandits with weaker cultivation bases did not dare to provoke him when they sensed his cultivation base from afar. Even a bandit organization with a violet sun golden celestial would not dare to take the risk. Only the black and white heroes, who were led by 2 violet sun golden immortals, would act rashly when they discovered that there was only one violet sun golden immortal among the passers-by in order to reap the greatest benefits. Unfortunately, The black and white heroes met their match this time and were completely annihilated. 3 months later, the county city of Nine Spectres County is just up ahead. Suddenly, Zhang Qiu's voice resonated in Duan Ling Tian's ears. Duan Ling Tian's heart jolted when he heard this. We've arrived at the county city of Nine Spectres County? Duan Ling Tian narrowed his eyes and looked in front of him. What entered his eyes was an incomparably vast plain. His field of vision suddenly opened up. On this vast plain, a small black dot was constantly growing larger before his eyes. In the end, it seemed to have turned into a huge beast that was crawling on the vast land. This is the county city of Nine Spectres County? At the same time, the outline of the county city of Nine Spectres County appeared in front of Duan Ling Tian. This was a huge city that was 10 times the size of Bloody Spectre City. Not only was it visually stunning, but one could also feel the majestic aura of this huge city even when standing in front of it. The gigantic city was grand and majestic, allowing carriages and horses to flow into it like a dragon. It was like 100 rivers flowing into the sea. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu followed behind Jing Qiu as they flew through the air above the Nine Spectres County. In the blink of an eye, they had entered the Nine Spectres County. At this time, Duan Lingtian also realized that the number of people around him had increased. Many people were shuttling back and forth above the county city in a hurry. Only a few of them were talking to the people around them. Very few of them were hovering in the air. 3 months. I didn't expect it to take so long to travel from Bloody Spectre City to Nine Spectres County. Duan Lingtian sighed in his heart. Of course, he also knew that the reason why he spent 3 months was mostly because Zhang Qiu was taking care of his and Qin Yu's speed. As for him, he also had to take care of Qin Yu's speed. His speed was completely based on Qin Yu's speed. If I travel at full speed, even if I don't use the Devata artifact, the Seven Orifices Exquisite Sword, I'll only need half a month to travel from Bloody Spectre City to Nine Spectres County's capital. Duan Lingtian thought to himself. This must be your first time in the county city, right? Zhang Qiu turned to look at Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu after they entered the city. Seeing that the two of them nodded, Zhang Qiu began to introduce the county city of Nine Spectres County to Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu. Before they arrived at the county governor's mansion, Zhang Qiu also introduced Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu to the county city of Nine Spectres County. In the county city of Nine Spectres County, the county governor's mansion was the most powerful family. However, there were many clans and forces under the county governor's mansion. These family clans were affiliated with the county governor's office and managed almost all of the properties in the county city of Nine Spectres County. Every month, they had to pay half of their profits to the county governor's office, which was equivalent to paying taxes to the county governor's office. Among these clans and forces, the 5 great clans are the strongest. My Zhang clan is also one of the 5 great clans. A hint of pride appeared on Zhang Qiu's face when he spoke up to this point. Although Zhang Qiu had helped the Zhang clan a lot, the Zhang clan had not been able to make it this far. However, if the Zhang clan did not live up to expectations, they would not have been able to make it this far even with Zhang Qiu's help. For example, in the county governor's mansion, there was an inner mansion elder who was widely acknowledged as the strongest great overarching golden celestial in Nine Spectres County. Even with the help of the inner mansion elder, the clan of the inner mansion elder was still useless. That was because the family members behind that inner mansion elder were all worthless people who couldn't hold up the wall. In the county city of Nine Spectres County, the strength of a clan depended on many factors. It was not as simple as having a strong fist. No matter how strong one's fist was, could it be stronger than the county governor's mansion? We've arrived at the county governor's mansion. Soon after, under Zhang Qiu's lead, Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu arrived at the eastern side of the county city of Nine Spectres County. They arrived at an inner city that resembled a palace. It was magnificent with golden tiles and red bricks. This is the county governor's mansion? Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu could not help but fall into a daze as they looked at the inner city that occupied more than half of the county city's eastern city. The inner city alone was twice the size of Bloody Spectre City. There's a rule in the county governor's mansion. Those below the level of great overarching golden celestial are not allowed to enter or leave the mansion without permission. Otherwise, they'll be punished severely. Zhang Qiu did not forget to remind Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu when they arrived near the entrance of the county governor's mansion. Duan Lingtian looked over when he heard Zhang Qiu's words. Sure enough, he saw many people. Although there were many people entering and exiting the county governor's mansion, they were all obediently moving through the entrance. Not a single person dared to cross the walls of the county governor's mansion. It was as though there was a taboo on the walls that could not be crossed. Elder Zheng Qiu, Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu followed behind Zheng Qiu. When they arrived at the entrance of the county governor's estate, 2 rows of golden-armored soldiers stood on both sides of the entrance and bowed respectfully at Zheng Qiu. Elder Zheng Qiu. It was not only the soldiers guarding the entrance of the county governor's mansion. Even the people entering and exiting the county governor's mansion greeted Zheng Qiu respectfully. Duan Lingtian was not surprised by this. After all, Zheng Qiu was an inner court elder of the county governor's mansion. Apart from that, Zheng Qiu was the second most powerful person in 9 Spectres County below Great Overarching Golden Celestials. In other words, if the strongest person in 9 Spectres County below Great Overarching Golden Celestials was in the county governor's mansion, then Zheng Qiu would be the 4th most powerful person in the county governor's mansion after the 2 Great Overarching Golden Celestials and a Peak Golden Celestial. How many people in the county governor's mansion would dare to disrespect such a person? Have the other inner court elders returned? Zheng Qiu asked one of the soldiers in golden armor who was guarding the entrance of the county governor's mansion. Reporting to Elder Zheng Qiu, before you, the other 8 inner mansion elders have already returned. The golden-armored soldier quickly replied, It seems like Bloody Spectre City is the furthest away from the county city of 9 Spectres County. It was not difficult for Duan Lingtian to figure this out when he heard the golden-armored soldier's words. Naturally, he knew the other inner court elders Zheng Qiu was asking about were the ones who had gone to the other 8 cities in 9 Spectres County. All right. Zheng Qiu nodded at the golden-armored soldier and strode into the prefectural governor's residence. Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu followed behind Zheng Qiu without being stopped. Are they the people Elder Zheng Qiu went to pick up this time? Which city did Elder Zheng Qiu go to pick up the people in 9 Spectres County this time? I think I heard someone mention it before. However, I forgot about it. I think Elder Zheng Qiu went to Bloody Spectre City. Bloody Spectre City? Is that the city that Lord Lu Fenggu is in charge of? That's the city. It's also the city furthest away from the county city. I really don't know why Lord Lu Fenggu left the county governor's mansion and went to such a faraway city to be the city governor. I heard there's more to this matter than meets the eye. When Duan Lingtian crossed the main entrance of the county governor's estate and entered the county governor's estate, he could only hear whispers behind him. Humph. When Zheng Qiu snorted coldly, the people behind him shuddered like birds that were startled by the twang of a bow. Then, they stopped talking and did not dare to speak anymore. It seems the city governor was a famous person in the county governor's mansion in the past. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many people who remember him. Duan Lingtian thought to himself, Elder Zheng Qiu, the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, used to stay in the county governor's mansion? Qin Yu asked in surprise. Clearly, he did not know about this matter beforehand. Yes. Faced with Qin Yu's question, Zheng Qiu nodded. In the past, City Master Lu was an outstanding strategist beside Lord County Governor. However, because of some matters, he left the county governor's mansion and went to the Bloody Spectre City. What matters? Qin Yu was curious. He could not understand why the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, Lu Fenggu, was willing to leave the county governor's mansion and go to Bloody Spectre City. One must know that compared to the flourishing county city of 9 Spectres County, Bloody Spectre City was a desolate place. It's not convenient for me to tell you the details. Zheng Qiu shook his head. Then, he seemed to have recalled something. He suddenly turned around and looked at Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian, if a consecrated by the name of Zhou Tong wants to take you as his disciple, you must not refuse. Chapter 26:33. When Zheng Qiu thought about how Lu Fenggu, the city governor of Bloody Spectre City, had left the county governor's estate, he sighed inwardly. He did not want Duan Lingtian, a young genius from Bloody Spectre City, to repeat the mistake of Lu Fenggu's direct disciple. For this reason, Zhang Qiu reminded Duan Tian. Zhou Tong. Before Duan Tian could respond to Lu Fenggu's words, Qin Yu, who was standing at the side, could not help but exclaim in a low voice, "What's the matter?" He looked at Zhang Qiu and asked, "Elder Zhang Qiu, is this revered Elder Zhou Tong the other great, overarching golden celestial in Nine Spectres City?" As one of the only two great, overarching golden celestials in Nine Spectres County, Zhou Tong's reputation was widespread. Almost everyone in Nine Spectres County knew about him. Therefore, Qin Yu knew about him as well. As a great, overarching golden celestial, Zhou Tong was rather well known even in the various counties under King Qin's mansion. "That's him." Zhang Qiu nodded as he looked at Duan Tian and said, "Revered Elder Zhou Tong is one of the only two great, overarching golden celestials in the county governor's estate. His strength is second only to the county governor. Apart from that, he's also the #1 revered elder in the county governor's estate. His status is second only to the county governor." Zhang Qiu spoke as though he was afraid Duan Tian did not know who Zhou Tong was. "Elder Zhang Qiu, I already have a master." Duan Tian was stunned when he heard Zhang Qiu's words. He could not help but recall the story Lu Fenggu had told him previously. After a while, he regained his senses and replied calmly, "I won't accept a master. I won't acknowledge a second master in my life." Duan Tian said. His tone was neither servile nor overbearing, and there was no joy or sorrow in his words. He was not trying to find an excuse when he said all that. Instead, it was the truth. In his heart, he had long recognized a master. It was the sword saint, Feng Qingyang, whom he had never met but had taught him the supreme sword Dao mental cultivation method, the sovereign heart sword. Although Feng Qingyang was currently trapped in the Azura Hell, one of the 7 deadliest places in the Devata realms, nobody knew if he was still alive. However, even if Feng Qingyang really died in the Azura Hell, he, Duan Tian, would still regard him as his master, and only him as his master. Shua. Zhang Qiu's expression changed drastically when he heard Duan Tian's words. He sent a voice transmission to Duan Tian. "Duan Tian, do you know why City Governor Lu left the county governor's estate and went to Bloody Spectre City?" Before Duan Tian could reply, Zhang Qiu told Duan Tian everything that had happened to Lu Fenggu in the county governor's estate. Upon hearing this, Duan Tian realized that Lu Fenggu's story was not true. The story that Lu Fenggu had told him was not a fictional story. It had actually happened to Lu Fenggu. "It seems like I can't get rid of the deal with the city governor," Duan Tian thought to himself after he heard Zhang Qiu's words. Although he had mentally prepared himself for this, he still felt a little uneasy when he heard Zhang Qiu's words. "If I don't agree, will Zhou Tong kill me like how he killed City Governor Lu's direct disciple?" Duan Tian asked through voice transmission as he looked at Zhang Qiu. "Forget it. I'll ask the city governor to do me a favor and spare your life." Zhang Qiu seemed to have sensed Duan Tian's determination. He knew it was useless to try to persuade Duan Tian. He did not continue to persuade Duan Tian. "Just take this as me returning the favor I owe you." "Elder Zhang Qiu." Duan Tian frowned and asked through voice transmission, "Didn't you say we came to the county governor's estate because of King Qin's mansion? If it's the Duke of Qin's manor that wants us, would revered Elder Zhou Tong dare to kill me for his own selfish desires?" In Duan Tian's opinion, King Qin's mansion was in the county governor's estate. Since the county governor's estate had gathered a group of golden celestials below the age of 100 for King Qin's mansion was bound to be the county governor's estate. This meant King Qin's mansion was in danger. These golden celestials were directly related to King Qin's mansion. Under such circumstances, would Zhou Tong, a mere revered elder of the county governor's estate, dare to kill these golden celestials? If King Qin's mansion finds out about you and values you, revered elder Zhou Tong won't dare to kill you, Zhang Qiu said through voice transmission. However, the problem is, no matter how outstanding you are, King Qin's mansion doesn't care about you. Under such circumstances, even if revered elder Zhou Tong kills you, it'll only be an internal matter of the county governor's estate in Nine Spectres County. Perhaps, Lord County Governor knows you're outstanding. However, if you're killed by revered elder Zhou Tong, He'll only keep it a secret to protect revered Elder Zhou Tong. After all, revered Elder Zhou Tong will definitely infuriate King Qin's mansion. After saying so much, I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to say, right? Zhang Qiu asked in return. Yes. Duan Ling Tian nodded. His expression instantly turned solemn. At the same time, he felt a sense of danger. Zhang Qiu's words were nothing more than telling him one thing. Before Duan Ling Tian entered King Qin's mansion sites, even if Zhou Tong killed him, the county governor of Nine Spectres County would do everything in his power to protect Zhou Tong. After all, few people could replace Zhou Tong's value in the eyes of the county governor of Nine Spectres County. It seems like I'll have to hurry up and raise my strength. That way, I'll be able to defeat Zhou Tong and bring him back to Bloody Spectre City for the city governor to deal with. After the city governor deals with him, he'll tell me where the celestial fire is. With this thought in mind, Duan Ling Tian became even more eager to become stronger. He wished he had the strength to defeat Zhou Tong as soon as possible. Elder Zhengqiu, where will we stay? Qin Yu asked. I don't know for now. I'll bring you to a place to settle you down for now. After that, I'll report to Lord County Governor about the black and white heroes. Qin Yu nodded. Soon after, Zhang Qiu brought Duan Ling Tian and Qin Yu to his residence. Both of you can stay here for now. If you need anything, just tell the servants. I'll go see Lord County Governor now, Zhang Qiu said before he left. He left Duan Ling Tian and Qin Yu in his residence. The heaven and earth spirit energy here is so dense. Sitting in the large courtyard of Zhang Qiu's residence, Qin Yu narrows his eyes and says in a somewhat intoxicated manner while feeling the rich holy energy. As expected of the second strongest person in Nine Spectres County below, a great overarching golden celestial. The cultivation environment here is even better than the city governor's cultivation room, Duan Ling Tian exclaimed. Although he could sense that the heaven and earth spirit energy in Zhang Qiu's residence was the densest, the cultivation environment here was much better. However, the heaven and earth spirit energy in Zhang Qiu's residence was much denser than the city governor's cultivation room. In other words, in terms of cultivation environment, Zhang Qiu's residence was much better than the heaven and earth spiritual qi in Bloody Spectre City. After a while, Duan Ling Tian regained his senses and discovered that Qin Yu was sitting cross-legged. At some point, Qin Yu had already sat down with his legs crossed and was immersed in his practice. One could vaguely see that streams of almost mist-like holy energy of the universe were fusing into Qin Yu's body at an extremely fast speed, as if they would never stop. That's true. Compared to me, I'm sure Qin Yu is more shocked by the cultivation environment here, Duan Ling Tian thought to himself. After all, he had cultivated in the city governor's cultivation room in Bloody Spectre City before. As far as Qin Yu was concerned, the best training environment he had ever come into contact with was perhaps the valley where the commander of the Black Dragon Army and the Kiliarchus tent resided. After arriving here, it was also normal for Qin Yu to feel a greater contrast than him. Phew, Duan Ling Tian heaved a sigh of relief before he sat cross-legged on the ground. He held a prominent celestial stone in his hand and began to cultivate. He did not consume the low-grade celestial pill, the spirit-nourishing pill. This was because he had not fully digested the spirit-nourishing pill in his body. Therefore, there was no need for him to consume another spirit-nourishing pill for the time being. However, after 9 months, I'm only left with 2 primitive celestial pills, the spirit-nourishing pills. 3 months ago, when he left Bloody Spectre City, he only had 4 spirit-nourishing pills left. During the 3 months on the road, he cultivated as he hurried along, and consumed 2 more spirit-nourishing pills. When I return, I'll have to think of a way to obtain more spirit-nourishing pills. Without the spirit-nourishing pills, my cultivation speed will slow down a lot. When Duan Ling Tian thought of this, he no longer thought about it and immersed himself in his cultivation. As he cultivated, Duan Ling Tian seemed to have lost track of time. After an unknown amount of time, it felt as though he had only cultivated for a few hours. It also felt as though he had cultivated for several days and nights. It was only when Zhang Qiu's voice sounded in his ears that he was awakened. You two are pretty lucky. Zhang Qiu returned and woke Duan Ling Tian and Qin Yu up. He said with a smile, Some time ago, Lord City Governor personally brought some elders and revered elders of the inner mansion to prepare a place for you two to cultivate. Among all the places you cultivate, it has the best cultivation environment. The heaven and earth spirit energy there is not inferior to the places where Lord County Governor and revered Elder Zhou Tong cultivate. You should know that in the County Governor's Mansion and the entire Nine Spectres County, the places where Lord County Governor and revered Elder Zhou Tong cultivate have the best cultivation environment. A hint of envy could be seen in Zhang Qiu's eyes when he finished speaking. Although the cultivation environment here was not bad, it was still not good. However, compared to the cultivation grounds of the County Governor of Nine Spectres County and revered Elder Zhou Tong, it was not worth mentioning at all. Qin Yu's eyes lit up when he heard Zhang Qiu's words. Among all the places we cultivate, the place with the best cultivation environment? Duan Tian, on the other hand, heard some clues from Zhang Qiu's words. Chapter 26:34. Under Zhang Qiu's lead, Duan Tian and Qin Yu left Zhang Qiu's residence and made their way to the west of the county governor's mansion. After traveling for a while, they finally arrived at a huge stone platform on the west side of the county governor's mansion. The huge stone platform was located on a vast open space. They could vaguely see many people sparring on the open space. Moreover, when they sensed the aura of their flesh and blood, they discovered something in common. They were all younger than 100 years old. These people are the golden celestials below the age of 100 from the other 8 cities in Nine Spectres County, and the outstanding golden celestials below the age of 100 from the county city of Nine Spectres County. Like all of you, the golden celestials below the age of 100 were chosen from their respective cities. Similarly, the golden celestials were selected by the county governor's mansion. Zhang Qiu explained to Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu. Upon hearing Zhang Qiu's explanation, Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu instinctively looked around the huge stone platform. They discovered there were 12 people in total. All of them had the appearance of young men. Their auras of flesh and blood were majestic and powerful. When Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu looked at the 12 people, they noticed the 8 people who were sparring with each other. The other 4 people who were watching the battle turned to look at them when they saw Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu looking at them. Follow the stairs at the center of the stone platform, and you'll arrive at the cultivation place in the county governor's mansion. When Zhang Qiu's voice rang in the air, Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu shifted their gazes from the people around the stone platform to where Zhang Qiu was looking. They saw a huge pit in the middle of the huge stone platform. Naturally, this pit was not dug out. It was deliberately made when the stone platform was being built. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Duan Lingtian and Qin Yu followed Zhang Qiu and landed in front of a flight of stairs at the center of the stone platform. The stairs led to the huge pit on the stone platform. They could clearly see the situation inside the pit. The staircase continued to descend, and at the side of the staircase, there was a stone room. The stone rooms were equipped with stone doors. Looking down, there were more than 20 stone rooms. Moreover, these stone rooms were separated by 30 flights of stairs. There are a total of 900 steps on this flight of stairs. If you go down 30 steps, you'll reach the first stone chamber, which is the place with the worst cultivation environment. 30 more steps down, the second stone chamber has a better environment for cultivation. At the same time, Zhang Qiu introduced it to Duan Lingtian and Duan Lingtian. Just down this path, to the side of the 900 steps, there are a total of 30 stone chambers. The stone chamber at the deepest part has the best cultivation environment. It's comparable to the cultivation grounds of Lord County Governor and Reverend Zhou Tong. The cultivation environment of the penultimate stone room is similar to the cultivation environment of my room. As for the cultivation environment in the third last stone room, it is similar to the cultivation environment in my courtyard. At this point, Zhang Qiu paused for a moment before continuing. Lord County Governor has named this place the Hidden Dragon Abyss. It's a place that he and many other inner court elders and reverends specially created for you to cultivate. At the same time, it's also a place to train you. If you want to obtain the best cultivation environment here, you can only rely on yourself. In the Hidden Dragon Abyss, anyone can use their own strength to seize a stone chamber. Just like the stone room with the best cultivation environment in the deepest part of the hidden dragon abyss, as long as you can defeat its current owner, you can take over the magpie's nest and take it for yourself. Following Zhang Qiu's explanation, Duan Lingtian also understood the rules of the hidden dragon abyss. The deeper one went into the stone chambers in the hidden dragon abyss, the better the cultivation environment was. Here, no matter who it was, they could seize a stone chamber with a better cultivation environment from someone else by force. However, there were also rules when it came to challenging someone and snatching their stone chamber from them. The challenger could only defeat the person being challenged and could not intentionally injure the person being challenged. On the other hand, the person being challenged could injure the challenger as long as the challenger was not killed or crippled. The rules were set up to prevent people from challenging the stone chambers with malicious intent. In other words, if one did not have the strength to challenge the owner of the stone chamber, the person being challenged could easily injure the person being challenged as long as the person was not killed or crippled. The stone chamber in the deepest part of the hidden dragon abyss. As long as I can occupy the stone chamber for a month, I'll be able to obtain 3 primitive celestial pills, the spirit-nourishing pills. Duan Lingtian's eyes lit up when he heard this from Zhang Qiu. After all, he did not have many spirit-nourishing pills left in his storage. If he could obtain 3 spirit-nourishing pills a month from the stone chamber in the deepest part of the hidden dragon abyss, it would be great news for him. Whoosh! With this thought in mind, Duan Lingtian did not even bother to bid farewell to Zhang Qiu and Qin Yu before he flew toward the stone chamber in the deepest part of the hidden dragon abyss. This brat is really... I haven't finished speaking yet. Zhang Qiu could guess Duan Lingtian's intention when he saw Duan Lingtian rushing into the hidden dragon abyss. He could not help but shake his head and smile bitterly. Qin Yu, it seems like you're not in the mood to listen to me anymore. You'll know what I'm going to say next after staying in the hidden dragon abyss for half a month. Therefore, I won't say anything else. Zhang Qiu flew into the air and left the hidden dragon abyss after he spoke to Qin Yu. When Duan Lingtian dove into the hidden dragon abyss, Qin Yu's eyes followed him into the hidden dragon abyss. It was only because Zhang Qiu was present that he did not abandon Zhang Qiu and follow Duan Lingtian. Now that Zhang Qiu had left, he could not wait to enter the hidden dragon abyss again. He followed Duan Lingtian all the way to the deepest part of the hidden dragon abyss. The hidden dragon abyss is going to be lively today, Zhang Qiu thought to himself after they left the hidden dragon abyss. He was well aware of Duan Lingtian's strength. Because of this, he did not doubt that Duan Lingtian would be able to obtain the stone chamber in the deepest part of the hidden dragon abyss. In his opinion, the stone chamber seemed to have been specially made for Duan Lingtian. Because he had already guessed the result, he had no interest in following Duan Lingtian into the hidden dragon abyss. The hidden dragon abyss. Who is he? I've never seen him before. He looks like a stranger. Duan Lingtian dove all the way to the deepest part of the hidden dragon abyss. Naturally, he attracted the attention of several young men who had just walked out of the stone chambers. Their eyes fell on Duan Lingtian as they watched Duan Lingtian reach the deepest part of the hidden dragon abyss. In front of the stone chamber in the deepest part of the hidden dragon abyss, Duan Lingtian stared indifferently at the stone door in front of him. Immediately after, he raised his hand and a strong wind slapped the stone door, making a loud bang. I, Duan Lingtian, want this stone chamber. Duan Lingtian spoke unhurriedly. Although his voice was not loud and his tone was calm, it was filled with an unquestionable tone. His words were filled with strong confidence. Whoosh! At the same time, Qin Yu followed Duan Lingtian to the deepest part of the hidden dragon abyss. He wants to challenge the master of the stone chamber in the deepest part of the hidden dragon abyss? Heavens! Where did he get his courage from? Although the master of the stone chamber in the deepest part of the hidden dragon abyss is not even 100 years old like us, his cultivation base is already at the yellow sun golden celestial stage. He's far stronger than us. He's a stranger. I think he just arrived today. As far as I know, the only person who's missing is someone from Bloody Spectre City. Is he from Bloody Spectre City? Apart from the young men who had just walked out of the stone chamber, there were a few young men who had heard Duan Lingtian's voice in the commotion outside. All of them turned their attention to Duan Lingtian. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Group of people who had noticed the commotion began to descend from the sky. They appeared near Qin Yu and watched the development of the situation with Qin Yu. There's an unfamiliar face here. At the same time, someone noticed Qin Yu's unfamiliar face. That person should be with the purple-clad young man. Up until now, I haven't seen the two people from Bloody Spectre City who haven't arrived yet. If I'm not mistaken, they should be the two people from Bloody Spectre City. A young man said. His words were also acknowledged by the others. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. The sound of wind whistling could be heard again. Outside of the hidden dragon abyss, 12 figures had arrived together. In the blink of an eye, they had entered the hidden dragon abyss. When they arrived at the deepest part of the hidden dragon abyss, all of them looked at Duan Lingtian. This purple-clad young man. Isn't he the person who came with Elder Zhengqiu earlier? Elder Zhengqiu seems to be in charge of the two golden immortals from Bloody Spectre City. It seems like this purple-clad young man should be one of the two people from Bloody Spectre City who haven't arrived yet. I remember. He had a companion with him earlier? Isn't he right there? Soon, several of the 12 people who had just entered the hidden dragon abyss all looked at Qin Yu, who was standing to one side. They recognized that Qin Yu was the one who had followed the purple-clothed youth into the hidden dragon abyss. Just as Qin Yu was being stared at by many people, boom, rumble. Following the rumbling sound, Duan Lingtian, who was standing in front of the stone room in the deepest part of the hidden dragon abyss, slowly opened the stone door. You want to challenge me to seize this stone room? When the stone door was halfway opened, a cold voice that was neither happy nor angry came from behind the stone door. When the stone door was fully opened, a figure appeared in front of Duan Lingtian and the others. It was an average-looking young man with a medium build. He looked like an ordinary person. He was the kind of person who would not stand out in a crowd. Chapter 26:35. Zhou Fei is here. Newborn, calves aren't afraid of tigers. This brat who just came from Bloody Spectre City wants to challenge Zhou Fei and occupy the best cultivation room in the latent dragon abyss. I think his name is Duan Lingtian or something. His name is quite arrogant. Not only is his name arrogant, but he's arrogant as well. He wants to challenge the owner of the best cultivation room as soon as he arrived in the latent dragon abyss. Does he really think it's that easy to obtain the best cultivation room? Humph. If it's that easy, I would have made a move long ago. How badly do you think Zhou Fei will injure him? Not only did the group of young men mention the name of the current owner of the cultivation room in the deepest part of the latent dragon abyss, but they also thought it was impossible for Duan Lingtian to obtain Zhou Fei's cultivation room. Zhou Fei is a yellow sun golden celestial. He's also the godson of Lord Zhou Tong, the first revered elder of the county governor's estate. He's always the center of attention in the county governor's estate. I heard revered elder Zhou Tong took a liking to Zhou Fei because of his high innate talent. He took Zhou Fei as his direct disciple and adopted Zhou Fei as his godson. Zhou Fei, who was not originally called Zhou Fei, changed his name to Zhou Fei. Rumor has it that Zhou Fei betrayed his former master and joined revered elder Zhou Tong. I heard about that as well. Zhou Fei's former master was so infuriated by Zhou Fei's betrayal that he vomited 3 liters of blood before he was killed by revered elder Zhou Tong. Shh. Keep your voice down. Are you seeking death? More whispers entered Duan Lingtian's ears. At this moment, Duan Lingtian finally realized who the young man standing in front of him was. Zhou Tong's godson? Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes as he studied the young man named Zhou Fei from head to toe. He discovered that Zhou Fei's expression was rather strange. This Zhou Fei, even when he heard whispers about how he had betrayed his master and turned to Zhou Tong's side, and how his master had been killed by Zhou Tong, he still had a calm expression. It was as if he didn't take it seriously at all. This made him increasingly feel that he could not figure out Zhou Fei. Suddenly, Duan Lingtian, who had been staring at Zhou Fei, had a thought. Haha, I almost thought that he didn't care. In an instant, Duan Lingtian clearly caught the flash of anger in Zhou Fei's eyes. Whoosh! Just as Duan Lingtian caught the flash of anger in Zhou Fei's eyes, Zhou Fei moved. However, it didn't come towards him. Instead, it rose into the air and landed in the middle of the group of young men who were watching. His gaze was locked onto one person. This person seems to be the one who betrayed Zhou Fei's previous master and joined Zhou Tong's side. Duan Lingtian recognized the young man that Zhou Tong was staring at. A fine bird chooses a fine tree to nest in. I don't think that was betrayal. Zhou Fei suddenly spoke. His voice was so cold that it made people feel as though they had fallen into an ice cellar. The young man's expression changed drastically. He hurriedly shook his head and waved his hand. Zhou Fei, I was just speaking casually. Since you've said it, you'll have to pay the price. Zhou Fei's gaze turned cold. He raised his hand and formed a saber with his palm. Buzz. In the next instant, Zhou Fei raised his hand, and the saber in his hand shone brightly. It whistled as the saber made an ear-piercing sound. Spurt. The sound of something being severed rang in the air, accompanied by a shrill cry. The latent dragon abyss had quietened down. The expressions of the other young men changed drastically. They looked at Zhou Fei with fear in their eyes. How ruthless! Just because he spoke the truth, he cut off his arm. Duan Lingtian's heart sank. The young man's arm had been severed by Zhou Fei's palm blade. However, due to the hidden dragon abyss's rule of not crippling people, Zhou Fei did not dare to destroy the young man's severed arm. Instead, he allowed the young man's other hand to reach out with lightning speed and catch the severed arm. Even if this arm is reattached, it will require a very long period of recuperation before it can fully recover. During this period of time, in order to prevent any problems from occurring during the recovery process, I will have to spend a lot of effort to keep an eye on it, and it will inevitably delay my cultivation. Duan Lingtian was well aware of this. If it wasn't for the rule in the latent dragon abyss, you would have been dead by now. Zhou Fei glanced coldly at the young man whose arm was severed by him. The young man was so frightened that he quickly lowered his head. He did not dare to look at Zhou Fei in the eye for fear of angering him again. How ruthless! We can't afford to offend Zhou Fei. At the same time, whether it was the group of onlookers in the hidden dragon abyss or those who had just heard the commotion and came out of the other stone rooms, they all looked at Zhou Fei with fear in their eyes. You're Duan Lingtian, right? Zhou Fei's eyes quickly shifted to Duan Lingtian. He looked down at Duan Lingtian and said indifferently, cut off one of your arms. Then, kneel down and kowtow to me 3 times. If that's the case, I'll pretend you didn't challenge me. If you're unwilling, I'll cut off all 4 of your limbs when I defeat you. I'll make you suffer unbearable pain. Zhou Fei's eyes glinted coldly when he finished speaking. As soon as Zhou Fei finished speaking, everyone in the latent dragon abyss shifted their attention to Duan Lingtian. It seems like Zhou Fei is really angry. I wonder if this brat from Bloody Spectre City knows what's good for him. If he knows what's good for him, he'll only need to cut off one of his arms to recover quickly. However, if all 4 of his limbs are cut off, even if Zhou Fei doesn't cut them off, it'll be difficult for him to recover completely. Most importantly, cutting off an arm and cutting off all 4 of your limbs are 2 completely different things. After losing an arm, the main focus was on a few things so that it could heal perfectly and return to how it was before it was broken. However, if you cut off all 4 of your limbs, it'll be difficult to heal all 4 of your limbs. That's right. It's much harder to heal all 4 of your limbs than it is to heal an arm. The spectators in the latent dragon abyss were curious about Duan Lingtian's decision. There was only one person who had a determined expression on his face. He had already guessed what Duan Lingtian would do. This person was none other than Qin Yu, a yellow sun golden celestial who's below the age of 100. He's truly amazing. Unfortunately, he met a monster like Duan Lingtian. Qin Yu thought to himself, this brat from Bloody Spectre City called Duan Lingtian. After witnessing Zhou Fei's strength, he'll probably admit defeat, right? As long as he's smart, he'll definitely choose to cut off one of his arms, kowtow, and beg for forgiveness. From the looks of it, he should be a smart person. In the latent dragon abyss, many of the spectators felt that Duan Lingtian would choose to cut off one of his arms instead of continuing to fight with Zhou Fei for the best cultivation environment in the deepest part of the latent dragon abyss. Everyone in the latent dragon abyss, including Zhou Fei, looked at Duan Lingtian. Duan Lingtian finally opened his mouth. Idiot! Under the shocked and incredulous gazes of the crowd, Duan Lingtian calmly glanced at Zhou Fei and spat out 2 words at a speed that was neither fast nor slow. Even Qin Yu was dumbfounded. Although he was confident in Duan Lingtian, he did not expect Duan Lingtian to respond so strongly to Zhou Fei's provocation. No matter what, Zhou Fei was the adopted son of the first revered elder of the county governor's mansion, Zhou Tong. Was Duan Lingtian not afraid of offending revered elder Zhou Tong by doing this? You dare to call me an idiot? Zhou Fei's breathing quickened when he regained his senses. He was so angry that his chest heaved up and down like a bellows. When he looked at Duan Lingtian again, his eyes were filled with killing intent. It was as though he wanted nothing more than to tear Duan Lingtian into pieces and grind his bones into dust. Do it. Duan Lingtian frowned impatiently when he heard Zhou Fei's question. He glanced at the cultivation stone room in front of him and said, Hurry up. I'm in a hurry to go in and cultivate. As he spoke, it was as if he had already taken the stone room in front of him as his own. Hiss, 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 hiss. At the same time, the others also regained their senses and gasped in unison. They looked at Duan Lingtian as though they had just seen a ghost. This brat from bloody Spectre City. Is he crazy? Although Zhou Fei is revered elder Zhou Tong's adopted son, revered elder Zhou Tong wouldn't have taken him in if it wasn't for his high innate talent. He's only able to occupy the best cultivation stone room in the latent dragon abyss because of his own strength. It has nothing to do with revered elder Zhou Tong. This brat from bloody Spectre City must have heard what we said about Zhou Fei being a yellow sun golden celestial. However, he acted as though he didn't hear us. Does he think he can defeat a yellow sun golden celestial? If he's from King Qin's mansion, he might be able to defeat Zhou Fei. However, he's from bloody Spectre City. The cultivation environment and resources in bloody Spectre City are far inferior to the county city of 9 Spectres County. At this moment, most people thought Duan Lingtian was a mantis trying to stop a chariot. Apart from Qin Yu, no one thought Duan Lingtian was a match for Zhou Fei. What a boastful statement. Brat, since you're in a hurry to have your limbs crippled, I'll fulfill your wish. Zhou Fei's celestial origin energy surged out of his body like a raging inferno as it soared into the sky. It seemed as though the temperature in the latent dragon abyss had risen a few degrees. Boom. A loud explosion sounded as the flames on Zhou Fei's body exploded. Then, he charged toward Duan Lingtian. Buzz, 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 buzz. Chapter 2636. Wong, 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 Wong. The saber ray that covered the sky and earth swept out, along with Zhou Fei toward Duan Lingtian. Dense saber lights bloomed, and some of them sputtered out and landed on the stone walls of the latent dragon abyss, leaving clear saber marks on them. The bricks used to build the latent dragon abyss were all very special. Otherwise, Zhou Fei's saber rays, which were formed from his celestial origin energy and combined with his celestial technique and divine ability, would not have only left some saber marks on the walls. However, it was rare for Zhou Fei to leave a saber mark on the walls. It should be noted that the latent dragon abyss was made of extremely hard stones. Even a scarlet sun golden celestial would not be able to leave a mark on the walls. And now, the aftershock of Zhou Fei's saber light had left a clear mark on it. From this, one could see how powerful Zhou Fei's attack was. Zhou Fei had yet to use his celestial weapon. How powerful! As expected of a yellow sun golden celestial. When Zhou Fei charged toward Duan Lingtian, the spectators in the latent dragon abyss held their breaths as they watched the scene unfold before their eyes. At this moment, in their eyes, the saber rays that shone from Zhou Fei's body were like miniature suns that shot out toward Duan Lingtian. It seemed like they were about to engulf Duan Lingtian. Just when everyone thought Duan Lingtian was about to be crippled by Zhou Fei, Qin Yu heard Zhou Fei's voice. Is that all you've got? Duan Lingtian's calm voice rang in everyone's ears in the latent dragon abyss. Although his voice was not loud, the content of his voice reverberated like thunder in the ears of the crowd. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. The group of people in the hidden dragon abyss, including Zhou Fei, did not have time to react. In the blink of an eye, dense sword cries resounded throughout the entire hidden dragon abyss. Duan Lingtian has made his move. Qin Yu knew that Duan Lingtian had made a move when he saw the numerous sword rays that were enveloped by the boundless and peerless saber rays that covered the sky. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Almost as soon as Qin Yu finished his thought, the sword rays suddenly burst into a dazzling light that enveloped the entire latent dragon abyss. It was so dazzling that the group of people in the latent dragon abyss subconsciously squinted their eyes. Boom, 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 boom. At the same time, a series of earth-shattering explosions rang in the latent dragon abyss. When they subconsciously opened their squinted eyes, they were shocked to see that there was no one around. At some point in time, the blade glow that had been released from Zhou Fei's body had been completely extinguished. Zhou Fei's attack. All that was left was a streak of sword light. Like gangrene attached to the bone, it rushed toward Zhou Fei. Boom, 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 boom. During this process, the hidden dragon abyss was filled with deafening sounds of air exploding. Along with this, the rolling waves of air turned into a strong wind that slapped the bodies of the group of people in the hidden dragon abyss, causing their robes to flutter. Some of the people with weaker cultivation bases felt their vital energy and blood tumbling in their bodies from the impact. They took a few steps back. My godfather is Zhou Tong, the first revered elder of the county governor's estate. If you hurt me, not only will you be violating the rules of the latent dragon abyss, but you'll also be offending my godfather. Zhou Fei's terrified voice rang in the air. He did not hesitate to threaten Duan Lingtian. At this moment, he was no longer as high-spirited as before. Facing the myriad of sword lights that were sweeping towards him, panic rose in his eyes. He wanted to escape, but he realized that he was completely locked on by the myriad of sword lights. Even if he tried to flee, it would be difficult for him to escape from the saber rays. Horses can slip up, and people can slip up. It's only human nature, Duan Lingtian said calmly in the face of Zhou Fei's threat. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. As soon as Duan Lingtian's words left his mouth, the saber rays shone brightly again before it suddenly accelerated and swept toward Zhou Fei. Zhou Fei hastily mobilized his celestial origin energy and severed his legs and arms. After severing Zhou Fei's limbs, Duan Lingtian stopped in time and did not destroy them. Zhou Fei's shrill cry rang in the latent dragon abyss, causing the people in the latent dragon abyss to feel chills running down their spines. It was as though a coward had heard the cries of ghosts and wolves. Zhou Fei's blood-curdling screams lasted for a few breaths of time before it finally stopped. After the blood-curdling screams came to a stop, one could vaguely see that Zhou Fei was sweating profusely. His eyes were bloodshot, as though he had just gone through an extreme punishment. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Under the watchful eyes of the others, 4 waves of celestial origin energy surged out of Zhou Fei's body. However, he did not attack Duan Lingtian. Instead, his celestial origin energy transformed into 4 hands that grabbed Zhou Fei's severed arms and legs and brought them back to his body. Zhou Fei's face, which was as pale as a sheet of paper, finally recovered a little after being reattached. Duan Lingtian, you're the challenger, and yet, you've severely injured and crippled me. You've completely disregarded the rules set by Lord County Governor. I, Zhou Fei, won't let this matter rest. Zhou Fei's eyes flashed coldly as he glared at Duan Lingtian. If you don't want your limbs to be severed again, hand over the door talisman, Duan Lingtian said as he looked at Zhou Fei indifferently. Whoosh. As soon as Duan Lingtian finished speaking, Zhou Fei's expression changed drastically. He raised his hand and threw a jade slip to Duan Lingtian. Then, he glared at Duan Lingtian before he left the latent dragon abyss under the watchful eyes of the others. Earlier, when he made his move, he did not use any celestial weapons. Even so, he was still overwhelmed by Duan Lingtian's attack. Moreover, he had seen the entire process clearly. Duan Lingtian did not use any celestial weapons. Naturally, he did not think Duan Lingtian did not have any celestial weapons. Under such circumstances, he knew he was no match for Duan Lingtian. For this reason, he did not continue to attack after his first attack was defeated. This was because he could sense the gap between him and Duan Lingtian. Moreover, the gap was not small at all. Qinyu, I'll be going in first. After receiving Zhou Fei's door talisman, Duan Lingtian raised his head and looked at Qinyu. Then, he infused his soul energy into the door talisman that Zhou Fei had removed from him so that the door talisman would recognize him as its master. This way, the formation in the stone room would no longer reject him, and he would be able to enter and leave freely. Inside the hidden dragon abyss, every stone room had some sort of array formation in addition to the stone doors. Only after obtaining the door talisman that corresponded to the stone room would one be able to enter the stone room to cultivate. After greeting Qinyu, Duan Lingtian entered the stone room. The group of people in the latent dragon abyss looked at each other. No one spoke for a long time. In the end, it was a young man in blue who broke the silence in the latent dragon abyss. Heavens! This is too exaggerated. That young expert from Bloody Spectre City defeated Zhou Fei in a single move and even crippled his limbs. Indeed, Zhou Fei's strength is on a completely different level compared to him. Just now, he defeated Zhou Fei effortlessly. I wonder what his cultivation base is. I don't think he's as simple as a green sun golden celestial. After all, even Zhou Fei, a yellow sun golden celestial, was defeated by him in a single move. That young expert from Bloody Spectre City seems to be called Duan Lingtian. I've never heard of such a person in Bloody Spectre City before. More and more people regained their senses and exclaimed in shock. As far as they were concerned, the scenes that had occurred earlier were simply like a fantasy story. Zhou Fei, who was almost invincible among them, had been defeated by a young expert from Bloody Spectre City in just a single move. Perhaps, even the group of people in the latent dragon abyss did not realize this. They no longer addressed Duan Lingtian as a young expert from Bloody Spectre City. Brother, you're also from Bloody Spectre City, right? Soon after, someone looked at Qinyu and asked enthusiastically. Yes. Qinyu nodded. I saw that young expert from Bloody Spectre City took the initiative to greet you. Are you familiar with him? That person asked again. Not really. We're just from the same place, so we can talk a bit. Qinyu said. Then do you know what his cultivation base is? Green Sun Golden Celestial? Blue Sun Golden Celestial? If he's a Blue Sun Golden Celestial, then he'll be the first Blue Sun Golden Celestial to appear in 9 Spectres County in the past 1,000 years. Another person could not help but ask Qinyu. As he spoke, he exclaimed in shock. I'm not too sure either. Qinyu shook his head. Of course, although he did not say it out loud, he knew very well in his heart. Duan Lingtian was most likely not even a Scarlet Sun Golden Celestial, much less a Green Sun Golden Celestial or a Blue Sun Golden Celestial. Duan Lingtian's immortal techniques and divine abilities are very likely to be heaven-level immortal techniques and divine abilities. Qinyu thought to himself. It was no wonder Qinyu thought so. If Duan Lingtian was a heavenly celestial who had only ascended to the spirit overarching heaven half a year ago, he would only be so powerful if he had mastered heaven-level immortal techniques and divine abilities. Even if he's a Blue Sun Golden Celestial, I'm afraid he's in trouble this time. Not only did he ignore the rules set by Lord County Governor, but he even severed Zhou Fei's limbs and offended revered Elder Zhou Tong. In other words, he's offended 2 of the strongest people in the county governor's estate. The county governor's side is still manageable. Even if he breaks the rules of the latent dragon abyss, the county governor might not punish him severely due to his talent. However, if revered Elder Zhou Tong fan the flames, it'll be a different story. Chapter 2637. Although Qinyu and Duan Lingtian did not have much interaction when they were still in Bloody Spectre City, they were not familiar with each other. However, Duan Lingtian had saved his life on their way to the county city of 9 Spectres County. Therefore, he felt he owed Duan Lingtian his life. At the same time, he also regarded Duan Lingtian as his friend. Now that Qinyu heard the words of the people around him, he could not help but worry about Duan Lingtian's safety. Logically speaking, With Duan Lingtian's intelligence, he should have realized this as well. However, after some thought, Qin Yu realized another problem. He felt that Duan Lingtian would not have thought of the trouble he would face after crippling Zhou Fei. But if he had realized this, why did he cripple Zhou Fei earlier? Not only did he violate the rules set by the county governor for the latent dragon abyss, but he also became enemies with the first reverend of the county governor's mansion, Zhou Tong. It was an unwise move. Qin Yu could not help but shake his head and smile bitterly. He could not understand what Duan Lingtian was thinking. Looks like our latent dragon abyss is going to be lively. Duan Lingtian from Bloody Spectre City has revived our latent dragon abyss. I wonder when Reverend Zhou Tong will come to find trouble with Duan Lingtian to avenge his adopted son. With Reverend Zhou Tong's status and position in the county governor's mansion, I don't think he needs to come personally to find trouble with Duan Lingtian. All he needs to do is inform the county governor, and the county governor will not let Duan Lingtian off so easily. I think so too. Qin Yu heard the whispers of the people around him. After a while, the people who had gathered around Duan Lingtian's cultivation stone room in the depths of the latent dragon abyss began to disperse. As for Qin Yu, he chose the cultivation stone room at the highest point of the latent dragon abyss. Although he also wanted to cultivate in a stone room with a better environment, he didn't want to. However, he was not in a hurry. He only wanted to figure out the background of the others first. Then, if he was confident, he would issue a challenge and seize the stone room with a better cultivation environment. After all, he was not Duan Lingtian, who was more powerful than all the golden celestials below the age of 109 Spectres County. Whoosh! With a raise of his hand, Qin Yu removed the door talisman at the entrance of the stone room. After making it recognize him as its master, Qin Yu also prepared to enter the stone room to practice and make the best use of his time to improve his power. Even though the cultivation environment in this stone room was the worst in the latent dragon abyss, it was still a very good place to cultivate. However, compared to the location of the Black Dragon Army's Kiliarka's tent in Bloody Spectre City, it was not much different. I hope Duan Lingtian has a way to deal with the upcoming trouble. Before starting to practice, Qin Yu thought about the troubles Duan Lingtian would soon face and could not help worrying about Duan Lingtian. But he also knew that it was useless for him to worry. With his current strength, there was nothing he could do to help Duan Lingtian. If it wasn't for the fact that I think it would be a piece of cake for me to help Duan Lingtian. In fact, all I have to do is say a few words. Suddenly, Qin Yu seemed to have thought of something, and his expression darkened slightly. I hope that Zhou Tong and the county governor of 9 Spectres County don't cross the line. Otherwise, I'll make sure they die a horrible death. Qin Yu's eyes gleamed coldly as he thought to himself. In that instant, a majestic aura was emitted from his body. It was as if he had transformed into a supreme emperor, looking down on all living beings. After a short moment, Qin Yu slightly caught his breath and calmed his heart. Then, he started to train. In the deepest part of the latent dragon abyss, in the stone room with the best cultivation environment. What rich heaven and earth spiritual energy! As soon as Duan Lingtian entered the cultivation stone room, he was shocked by the dense heaven and earth spirit energy that enveloped him. He only regained his senses after a long time, and his face was filled with surprise. The heaven and earth spiritual energy here. It's several times richer than the heaven and earth spiritual energy in Elder Zhangqiu's courtyard. As expected of a place that's comparable to the county governor of 9 Spectres County, this is indeed a good place to cultivate. After taking a deep breath, Duan Lingtian sat cross-legged on the stone bed in the stone room and muttered to himself. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something, and his eyes shone brightly. This stone room will be Duan Lingtian's permanent cultivation place in 9 Spectres County. No one will be able to take it away from me. A good cultivation environment had a direct impact on one's cultivation progress. In the entire 9 Spectres County, the place with the best cultivation environment was none other than the county governor's cultivation place. Now that Duan Lingtian had a cultivation place that was comparable to the cultivation place of the county governor of 9 Spectres County, it was only natural that he did not want to move. He wanted to cultivate in this place as long as he was in 9 Spectres County. It won't take long for me to break through and become a golden celestial if I cultivate in this place. After experiencing the cultivation environment in the stone chamber, Duan Ling Tian was confident that he would be able to make a breakthrough soon if he continued to cultivate in the stone chamber. Moreover, he would be able to break through to the golden celestial stage. With this thought in mind, Duan Ling Tian took out a prominent celestial stone and closed his eyes to cultivate. The secret of crystal clearance. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. If someone was standing at the side, they would be able to clearly see this scene. The heaven and earth spirit energy in the air around Duan Ling Tian merged with the heaven and earth spirit energy from the prominent celestial stone in his hand and shrouded him before it entered his body through his pores. After the heaven and earth spirit energy entered Duan Ling Tian's body, it followed the circulation route of the yellow-grade celestial method, the crystal clearance technique, through his 99 heavenly veins before it carried the remaining medicinal efficacy of the primitive celestial pill, the spirit-hardening pill, through his body. Duan Lingtian's cultivation base was constantly changing. Outside the stone room, in the latent dragon abyss, it was calm. However, many people in the latent dragon abyss knew this was only the calm before the storm. Although the prefectural governor's manor occupied a large area, the slightest movement in any part of the prefectural governor's manor would usually spread throughout the entire prefectural governor's manor in a short period of time. Hey, did you hear about what happened in the latent dragon abyss today? Yes. It said that one of the two golden celestials under the age of 100 that Elder Zhengqiu brought back from Bloody Spectre City crippled Zhou Fei, revered Elder Zhou Tong's adopted son, Zhou Fei, as soon as he arrived in the latent dragon abyss. Although his limbs can be reattached, there will be repercussions. That's right, that's it. I didn't expect such a golden celestial would appear in the remote Bloody Spectre City. Zhou Fei is a yellow sun golden celestial. Before today, I've never heard of a golden celestial under the age of 100 who's as strong as him. Perhaps this is what they mean by, there's always someone better than you. You're right. Duan Ling Tian, the golden celestial from Bloody Spectre City who's not even 100 years old, is destined to become famous. I'm afraid the news has already spread out of the county governor's estate. It won't be long before the entire county governor's estate hears about this. At that time, Duan Ling Tian will become famous in the county governor's estate. Similar discussions could be heard everywhere in the county governor's estate. That brat really knows how to cause trouble. Zhang Xiu, the inner mansion's elder, who had brought Duan Ling Tian and Qin Yu here from Bloody Spectre City, had also heard the news. Zhang Xiu was stunned for a long time before he smiled wryly. It's one thing for Duan Ling Tian to obtain the best cultivation environment in the latent dragon abyss, but why did he have to sever Zhou Fei's limbs? This is against the rules set by the county governor in the latent dragon abyss. Moreover, he even offended revered elder Zhou Tong. Brat. Even I can't do anything about the trouble you've caused this time. You're on your own now. Zhang Qiu muttered to himself. Zhang Qiu muttered to himself before letting out a long sigh. Although he had a good impression of Duan Ling Tian and was willing to help Duan Ling Tian was still in trouble. However, this time, the trouble Duan Ling Tian had caused was not something he could help even if he wanted to. There was nothing he could do. Outside the residence of the first revered elder, Zhou Tong, in the county governor's estate. What did you say? Did foster father go on a long journey half a month ago? Zhou Fei, who had just found a place to properly treat his injuries, hurried over to look for Zhou Tong. When he heard that Zhou Tong had left the county governor's estate half a month ago and went on a long journey, his expression turned grave immediately. Godfather left. How could I not know about this? Zhou Fei asked in a deep voice. Young Master Fei, Lord Consecrator has gone on a long journey this time, and his whereabouts are a secret. Even the county governor doesn't know about it. If you didn't listen to my advice today and insisted on barging in, I wouldn't dare to tell you about this so easily. Lord Revered Elder said that no one is allowed to know about his departure. The servant in Zhou Tong's residence smiled wryly. Since Godfather isn't here, I'll go look for Lord County Governor. Duan Ling Tian dared to violate the rules set by Lord County Governor in the latent dragon abyss. Lord County Governor definitely won't let him off. Zhou Fei did not have time to think about why his godfather had left so secretly. He was completely consumed by anger at this moment. After he left Zhou Tong's residence, he went to look for the county governor of Nine Spectres County. "Lord County Governor, you must seek justice for me." In the main hall of the county governor's mansion, Zhou Fei, who had been waiting for a while, stepped forward and knelt in front of the county governor after the few elders who had reported to the county governor of Nine Spectres County left. Chapter 26:38. Get up and speak. Tian Jiyu, the county governor of Nine Spectres County, said as he glanced at Zhou Fei, who was kneeling on the ground. As the county governor of Nine Spectres County, he had long heard about the incident in the latent dragon abyss. He had expected someone to come looking for him. However, he thought the person who would come looking for him would be Zhou Tong, the first revered elder of the county governor's estate. He did not expect Zhou Fei to come looking for him. He had expected Zhou Fei to come looking for him. When revered elder Zhou Tong heard about the young powerhouse from Bloody Spectre City, Duan Tian, breaking Zhou Fei's limbs, the first thing he did was to look for Duan Tian in the latent dragon abyss. If Duan Tian was willing to become his direct disciple, he would not hold it against Duan Tian for crippling his foster son, Zhou Fei. In his opinion, Duan Tian was much more valuable than his foster son. After all, Duan Tian was younger than 100 years old, just like his foster son. However, Duan Tian was able to defeat his foster son with just a blow. Such a young expert would only surpass his adopted son in the future and would not be inferior to him. However, according to Zheng Qiu, the inner elder of the county governor's estate, it was impossible for Duan Tian from Bloody Spectre City to become Zhou Tong's direct disciple. Under such circumstances, Zhou Tong would definitely come looking for Duan Tian and ask him to punish Duan Tian for breaking the rules he had set in the latent dragon abyss. However, he did not expect Zhou Fei to come looking for him. "Lord County Governor." Zhou Fei lowered his head and said angrily, "Lord County Governor, that Duan Tian from Bloody Spectre City is really out of control. He knows you've set a rule in the latent dragon abyss that a challenger is not allowed to injure a challenger. However, he still broke my limbs and severely injured me. It's obvious he doesn't respect you, Lord County Governor." Zhou Fei continued to fan the flames of anger in Tian Jiyu, the county governor of Nine Spectres County. However, as the county governor of Nine Spectres County, how could Tian Jiyu not know what he was thinking? "Where's Zhou Tong? Why didn't she come with you?" Tian Jiyu asked. "Foster father." As soon as Zhou Fei opened his mouth, he wanted to say that his foster father, Zhou Tong, had gone somewhere far away. However, just as he was about to blurt out those words, he calmed down and tried to salvage the situation by saying, "Foster father is currently in closed-door training. I did not disturb him." At this critical moment, he recalled that his foster father had left secretly. Even the county governor of the Nine Spectres County did not know about it. Since Duan Tian was one of the two great overarching golden celestials in Nine Spectres County, and his foster father was a revered elder of the county governor's estate, he should inform the county governor before he left. However, his foster father did not inform him this time. It was obvious that his foster father did not want the county governor to know that he was going out this time. Since his foster father did not want the county governor to know, he did not dare to speak carelessly. "I see." Tian Jiyu nodded and continued, "Give me a few days. After a few days, I will give you the latent dragon abyss and the entire prefectural governor's manor a satisfactory answer." Yes. Hearing Tian Jiyu's words, Zhou Fei had an idea in his heart. In his opinion, even though his cultivation and talent were not as good as Duan Tian's, he was still able to defeat Duan Tian. However, he was the adopted son of the first revered elder in the county governor's estate. Moreover, his adoptive father was one of the only two great overarching golden celestials in the county governor's estate. For the sake of his foster father, the prefectural governor would definitely side with him and not that Duan Tian. After all, in the eyes of the prefectural governor, his foster father was much more valuable than Duan Tian. "Lord County Governor, I'll take my leave first." After Zhou Fei had an idea of what was going on, he bowed and left. When Zhou Fei left, Tian Jiyu's thoughts were similar to Zhou Fei's. However, If he wanted to punish Duan Lingtian, he would have to investigate the matter thoroughly. For this reason, he quickly sent someone to the latent dragon abyss to investigate. 2 days later, a distinguished guest arrived at the county governor's estate in Nine Spectres County. This guest was the special envoy from King Qin's mansion. He was here on King Qin's orders to deliver a message to Tian Jiyu, the county governor of Nine Spectres County. Lord Envoy. In the main hall of the county governor's estate, Tian Jiyu greeted the special envoy from King Qin's mansion respectfully. Although the special envoy from King Qin's mansion was also a great overarching golden celestial like him, his strength was not something Tian Jiyu could compare to. Moreover, the special envoy from King Qin's mansion represented King Qin. For this reason, Tian Jiyu did not dare to be negligent. The special envoy from King Qin's mansion was an old man dressed in a white robe. He had white hair and a ruddy complexion. His body emitted an otherworldly aura. He looked like an otherworldly elite. County Governor Tian. The white-robed old man looked at Tian Jiyu and smiled faintly as he said, "Speaking of which, it has been a few decades since we last met. How have you been all these years?" "Thank you for your concern, Special Envoy. I've always been good." "I've been all right," Tian Jiyu replied with a smile. "I'm here on King Qin's orders to deliver a message to you, County Governor Tian." The white-robed old man did not beat around the bush as he said, 3 years later, County Governor Tian will gather 30 golden celestials below the age of 116 counties. King Qin will hold a martial competition of the 16 counties when they gather in King Qin's mansion. Apart from the generous rewards for the top 10, the counties behind these 10 people will also receive generous rewards. The county behind the young powerhouse who wins the first place will receive 3 mediocre celestial pills, the great overarching pills. The county behind the young powerhouse who wins the second place will receive 2 mediocre celestial pills, and the county behind the young powerhouse who wins the third place will receive 1 mediocre celestial pill, the great overarching pill. When the white-robed old man reached the end of his sentence, a hint of excitement could be seen in his eyes as he said, "County Governor Tian, I believe I don't have to explain the effects of the mediocre celestial pill, right?" Gasp. Tian Jiyu, the county governor of Nine Spectres County, inhaled sharply when he heard the white-robed old man's words. His eyes shone with excitement. Naturally, he knew the effects of the mediocre celestial pill, the great overarching pill. Although the great overarching pill was only a mediocre celestial pill, it could be considered as one of the best mediocre celestial pills. Due to the rarity and uniqueness of the ingredients, the great overarching pill was more valuable than some prominent celestial pills, even though it was only a mediocre celestial pill. The most important effect of the great overarching pill was to improve the cultivation base of a great overarching golden celestial. Moreover, if a peak golden celestial consumed a great overarching pill, he would definitely be able to break through and become a great overarching golden celestial. A great overarching pill was equivalent to becoming a great overarching golden celestial. With my current cultivation base, as long as I consume 2 great overarching pills, I'll be able to break through the bottleneck that has been holding me back for hundreds of years and break through to the next level. In other words, as long as the 30 golden celestials below the age of 100 from Nine Spectres County are able to rank in the top 2 of the martial competition of the 16 counties, they'll be able to obtain 2 great overarching pills and help me break through to the next level. If someone from Nine Spectres County is able to rank first in the martial competition of the 16 counties, not only will it help me break through to the next level, but it'll also allow Nine Spectres County to have another great overarching golden celestial. Tian Jiyu's breathing quickened when he thought about this. His chest heaved up and down like a bellows. He was extremely excited. "I heard that there's a young powerhouse below the age of 100 in Nine Spectres County called Zhou Fei. He's not even 100 years old, but he's already a yellow sun golden celestial." The white-clad old man looked at Tian Jiyu and said, "If he's nurtured for 3 years, he might be able to rank in the top 3 of the martial competition of the 16 counties that'll be held in King Qin's mansion 3 years later. As long as Zhou Fei ranks 3rd, he'll be able to obtain a mediocre celestial pill, the great overarching pill, for County Governor Tian." When the white-clad old man mentioned the mediocre celestial pill, his eyes shone with excitement again. "Zhou Fei, Tianji was stunned when he heard the white-clad old man's words. Then, he immediately thought of Duan Lingtian, who had come from Bloody Spectre City 2 days ago. Zhou Fei's innate talent and strength were not bad. However, Duan Lingtian had severed Zhou Fei's limbs as soon as he arrived. Moreover, he had defeated Zhou Fei with just a blow. Duan Lingtian's innate talent and strength were much stronger than Zhou Fei's. I've conveyed King Qin's message. County Governor Tian, we'll meet again in 3 years. I hope you'll be able to see Zhou Fei shine and rank in the top 3 of the martial competition of the 16 counties. After bidding farewell to Tianji, the white-clad old man left. After Tianji sent the white-clad old man off, he looked in the direction of the latent dragon abyss. His eyes gleamed as he thought to himself, I, Tianji, must obtain the mediocre celestial pill, the great overarching pill. In just a blink of an eye, another day had passed. It was destined that the county governor's estate would not be peaceful today. The county governor's estate was in a mess because of the announcement made by the county governor of the 9 Spectres County. Moreover, it was related to the incident where Duan Lingtian had severed Zhou Fei's limbs 3 days ago. 3 days ago, Duan Lingtian challenged Zhou Fei to a cultivation room in the latent dragon abyss because Elder Zheng Qiu didn't explain the rules of the latent dragon abyss to Zhou Fei. Therefore, Duan Lingtian's actions are understandable. As for Elder Zheng Qiu, as the county governor, I'll punish him. Chapter 2639. 3 days ago, news of Duan Lingtian severing Zhou Fei's limbs and severely injuring him had spread like wildfire in the county governor's mansion. At that time, almost everyone thought that Duan Lingtian was doomed. Most people thought that Duan Lingtian was doomed. After all, not only had Duan Lingtian broken the rules of the latent dragon abyss, but he had also severed the limbs of Zhou Tong's foster son, the revered elder of the county governor's mansion. However, no one had expected that the outcome would be like this 3 days later. Not only did the county governor not punish Duan Lingtian severely, but he even said that Duan Lingtian was not at fault. Instead, he blamed Zheng Qiu, the inner elder of the county governor's mansion, for not informing Duan Lingtian about the rules of the latent dragon abyss. That was why Duan Lingtian had committed such a crime. For this reason, Duan Lingtian's mistake was excusable. Elder Zheng Qiu did not inform Duan Lingtian about the rules of the latent dragon abyss. Is that why Duan Lingtian injured Zhou Fei? Why does this reason sound a little far-fetched? Elder Zheng Qiu's cautiousness and meticulousness were well known in our county governor's mansion in the past. Is it possible that he forgot to inform Duan Lingtian about the rules of the latent dragon abyss? Why do I have a feeling that the county governor is protecting Duan Lingtian? That's impossible, right? Why would the county governor protect Duan Lingtian? After all, Zhou Fei is revered elder Zhou Tong's foster son. Between revered elder Zhou Tong and Duan Lingtian, the county governor must be on revered elder Zhou Tong's side, right? That's right. No matter how talented Duan Lingtian is, he's not as valuable as revered elder Zhou Tong in the county governor's eyes. Similar discussions could be heard everywhere in the county governor's mansion. They were shocked when they heard the county governor of 9 Spectres County's announcement. They found it hard to believe. After all, their county governor's mansion's inner mansion elder Zheng Qiu was famous for his cautiousness and carefulness. They would not be surprised if the other inner mansion elders were as careless as him. However, they found it hard to believe that Zheng Qiu was careless and made such a mistake. In a spacious courtyard in the county governor's mansion, Zheng Qiu, who was sipping his tea at the stone table, could not help but shake his head and smile wryly when he heard the news. I thought Duan Lingtian was doomed this time. I didn't expect the arrival of the special envoy from King Qing's mansion would allow him to escape this ordeal. Zheng Qiu was not surprised by the news that spread like wildfire in the prefectural governor's mansion today. In fact, he had already mentally prepared himself yesterday. Yesterday, Tianji, the county governor of 9 Spectres County, had personally come to look for Duan Lingtian and told him about the arrival of King Qin's mansion's envoy. At that time, Zheng Qiu knew that Duan Lingtian was a genius. In the eyes of the county governor of 9 Spectres County, Duan Lingtian, the young powerhouse whom he had brought back from Bloody Spectre City, was as valuable as Zhou Tong, the first revered elder of the county governor's mansion. The martial competition of the 16 counties and the mediocre celestial pill, the great overarching pill. King Qin's mansion is really generous this time, Zhang Qiu exclaimed. He knew that this was why Duan Lingtian was as valuable as revered elder Zhou Tong in the eyes of the county governor. After all, the county governor needed Duan Lingtian to obtain the mediocre celestial pill, the great overarching pill, in the martial competition of the 16 counties. A mediocre celestial pill, the great overarching pill, was enough to create a great overarching golden celestial. Moreover, as far as he knew, if he could obtain the mediocre celestial pill, the great overarching pill, the county governor's cultivation base would improve. Before Duan Lingtian appeared, the county governor must have thought of Zhou Fei as his hope. However, now that he defeated Duan Lingtian with just a blow, he has replaced Zhou Fei as the county governor's hope. This point, Zhang Qiu was also very clear in his heart. Otherwise, the county governor would not have personally come over to discuss with him and let him be the scapegoat this time to protect Duan Lingtian. I guess I'll have to take the blame this time, Zhang Qiu thought to himself. Currently, it was widely rumored that Duan Lingtian had violated the rules of the latent dragon abyss because he, the guide, did not inform Duan Lingtian of the rules. Therefore, he was the root of the problem. Under the county governor's instructions, Zhang Qiu was willing to take the blame. However, even though he was the scapegoat, he was not dissatisfied at all. After all, the county governor had promised him many benefits and even promised him that even if revered elder Zhou Tong came looking for trouble with him, the county governor would protect him and would not let him suffer any harm. In the latent dragon abyss, Duan Lingtian is fine? Heavens! Elder Zhang Qiu is the one at fault in the end? Elder Zhang Qiu was the one who brought Duan Lingtian back from Bloody Spectre City. Although he managed to protect Duan Lingtian, he has also sacrificed himself. Is it worth it for him to do this? Do you mean Elder Zhang Qiu is willing to take the blame to protect Duan Lingtian? That's right. With Elder Zhang Qiu's meticulous nature, it's impossible he didn't tell Duan Lingtian about the rules of the latent dragon abyss. He must have taken the blame for Duan Lingtian. All the young powerhouses in the latent dragon abyss shared the same thought. It was their county governor's estate's Elder Zhang Qiu who took the initiative to take the blame for Duan Lingtian to protect him. Otherwise, even if Duan Lingtian did not die, he would have been severely injured. Elder Zhang Qiu? Qin Yu, who had just walked out of the stone room, was shocked when he heard about the county governor's estate's decision to punish Duan Lingtian for severely injuring Zhou Fei 3 days ago. He did not expect Elder Zhang Qiu would be the one at fault in the end. He had come to the latent dragon abyss with Duan Lingtian. Qin Yu could still remember what Elder Zhang Qiu had told Duan Lingtian when they arrived at the latent dragon abyss. He remembered clearly. At that time, Elder Zhang Qiu had explained the rules of the latent dragon abyss to them in detail, including the rule that the challenger could not kill the challenger, could not seriously injure the challenger, and could not cripple the challenger. This matter concerns the first revered elder of the county governor's estate, Zhou Tong. Elder Zhang Qiu has taken the blame for Duan Lingtian so openly. Isn't he afraid revered elder Zhou Tong will come looking for trouble with him? Qin Yu thought to himself. He could not figure this out. Although Zhang Qiu was an inner court elder in the county governor's estate and the second strongest person in the 9 Spectres County after great overarching golden celestials, he was not a great overarching golden celestial. Therefore, his value in the county governor's estate was not as high as Zhou Tong, the first revered elder. So much so that even if Zhou Tong were to brazenly kill him, he would not receive any punishment. In the eyes of the county governor of the 9 Spectres County, Zhou Tong's value was not something Zhang Qiu could compare to. For this reason, Qin Yu was puzzled. Was Elder Zhang Qiu not afraid of offending revered elder Zhou Tong by helping Duan Lingtian? Qin Yu did not know about the martial competition of the 16 counties and the rewards. Otherwise, he would not have thought this way. 3 days ago, when Zhou Fei, one of the main characters of the incident, came out of the stone chamber, he thought he would receive good news that Duan Lingtian had been severely punished. However, he did not expect to receive news that Duan Lingtian was fine and that Elder Zhang Qiu had taken the blame for Duan Lingtian. No. Impossible. Impossible. Zhou Fei shook his head repeatedly. He could not believe what he had heard. However, as he heard more and more similar words, he had no choice but to believe it. Elder Zhengqiu. Elder Zhengqiu. Zhou Fei immediately went to look for Zhengqiu. He asked anxiously, Elder Zhengqiu, why did you help Duan Lingtian? You're known to be careful and attentive in the county governor's mansion. It's impossible that you didn't tell Duan Lingtian about the rules of the latent dragon abyss. What's your relationship with Duan Lingtian? Why are you so protective of him? Zhou Fei looked at Zhang Qiu and asked in a deep voice, How dare you? Zhang Qiu shouted and glared at Zhou Fei. Zhou Fei, do you know who you're talking to? I, Zhang Qiu, am an inner house elder of the county governor's mansion. How dare you, a mere disciple of the latent dragon abyss, question me? Zhou Fei was not afraid at all. He continued, Elder Zhang Qiu, don't forget that I'm not only a disciple of the latent dragon abyss, but I'm also revered Elder Zhou Tong's godson. If you take the blame for Duan Lingtian, you'll be making an enemy out of my godfather. Not only have you offended me, but you've also offended my godfather. Aren't you worried that my godfather will come after you? Zhou Fei's tone was filled with threat as he spoke. Scram. In the face of Zhou Fei's threat, Zhang Qiu was enraged. He raised his hand and a vast and boundless power swept out. It was like a huge boulder, slamming into Zhou Fei and blasting him out of his courtyard. If you're not satisfied, you can ask revered Elder Zhou Tong to come find me. Zhang Qiu's cold voice rang out as Zhou Fei was sent flying out of the courtyard and landed heavily on the ground. Zhou Fei, who was sprawled on the ground, was completely dumbfounded. He did not even get to his feet for a long time. He could not understand this at all. Why did this Elder Zhang Qiu not feel the slightest bit of fear when he mentioned his godfather? In the courtyard, Zhang Qiu sneered. He was naturally afraid of revered Elder Zhou Tong. However, he had taken the blame for Duan Lingtian on the orders of the county governor's mansion. With the county governor's protection, he did not have to worry about revered Elder Zhou Tong finding trouble with him over this matter. Duan Lingtian was unaware of what was happening outside. He was in the stone chamber of the latent dragon abyss, completely immersed in his cultivation. He had completely forgotten about the passage of time. Finally, half a year later, Duan Lingtian, who had not been disturbed, opened his eyes. His eyes shone brightly. A golden immortal. Chapter 2640. The celestial origin energy of a scarlet sun golden celestial is indeed much stronger than a violet moon heavenly celestial. After becoming a scarlet sun golden celestial, Duan Lingtian could clearly feel the changes in his celestial origin energy. The changes in his celestial origin energy could not be compared to the changes in his celestial origin energy when he broke through to become a heavenly celestial. However, I don't know how long I spent in seclusion this time. Although Duan Lingtian had successfully broken through and become a golden celestial, he did not know how long he had been cultivating, since it was impossible for him to keep track of time while he was cultivating. I don't know how long I spent in closed-door cultivation, but I'm certain it wasn't a short period of time. How strange. I broke Zhou Fei's limbs and severely injured him, breaking the rules of the latent dragon abyss. Why didn't anyone question me? When Duan Lingtian had defeated Zhou Fei, severed his limbs, and seized the stone chamber in the deepest part of the latent dragon abyss that originally belonged to Zhou Fei, he was already prepared for someone to denounce him. After all, he had broken the rules of the latent dragon abyss. Moreover, Zhou Fei was the godson of Zhou Tong, the first revered elder of the county governor's estate. However, he did not expect his breakthrough to the Scarlet Sun Golden Celestial stage would not be interrupted at all. It was as though the incident of him crippling Zhou Fei's limbs did not happen at all. What's going on? Duan Lingtian left the stone chamber in the deepest part of the latent dragon abyss and appeared in front of a few young men who had just come out of another stone chamber. These young men saw Duan Lingtian when he came out of the stone chamber and saw Duan Lingtian. It's Duan Lingtian. He's out of closed-door cultivation. He finally came out of closed-door cultivation after half a year. What's more surprising is that the matter from half a year ago has come to an end. Come to an end? Based on what I know, it's not necessarily the end. It's said that revered elder Zhou Tong has been in closed-door cultivation since half a year ago, and he hasn't come out yet. That's why he didn't intervene in the matter. If he comes out of seclusion, even if it's been half a year, he won't let it go. That's right. As for the incident half a year ago, anyone with a discerning eye would be able to determine that it was Elder Zhang Qiu who intentionally took the blame and protected this Duan Lingtian. If revered Elder Zhou Tong comes out of his closed-door cultivation, he would surely not let Elder Zhang Qiu and Duan Lingtian off so easily. A few young men looked at Duan Lingtian from afar and whispered to each other. Although their whispers were not loud, they were clearly heard by Duan Lingtian. For a moment, Duan Lingtian couldn't help but be stunned. What happened half a year ago? Is it because I broke Zhou Fei's limbs and severely injured him, breaking the rules of the latent dragon abyss? That Zhou Tong just so happens to be in closed-door cultivation? It's no wonder they didn't look for trouble with me. However, they said that Elder Zhang Qiu intentionally took the blame to protect me. What's going on? Regarding this, Duan Lingtian was extremely puzzled. What do all of you mean by that? In just a flash, Duan Lingtian appeared in front of the young men who were whispering to each other like a ghost, causing horror to appear on their faces. Duan Lingtian asked calmly, "All of you said that Elder Zhang Qiu intentionally took the blame to protect me. What do all of you mean by that?" Initially, the young men thought that Duan Lingtian was angry because he heard their whispers and wanted to find trouble with them. Due to this reason, their expressions changed immediately. However, in the face of Duan Lingtian's question, and when they saw that Duan Lingtian did not have the slightest trace of anger on his face, they sighed in relief. However, in the face of Duan Lingtian's question, they did not dare to be negligent. They quickly explained everything to Duan Lingtian, so that Duan Lingtian would know that he had been in closed-door cultivation for half a year. Apart from that, it also allowed Duan Lingtian to know the reason why the incident from half a year ago was so peaceful and nobody came looking for him to denounce him for his crimes. As it turned out, it was all because of Elder Zhang Qiu. Elder Zhang Qiu actually said that he didn't tell me about the rules of the latent dragon abyss. That's why I broke Zhou Fei's limbs and severely injured him without knowing the rules of the latent dragon abyss. That's why I broke the rules set by the county governor of Nine Spectres County. A slight frown appeared on Duan Lingtian's face. However, doesn't Elder Zhang Qiu know that by doing this, he'll offend Zhou Tong? Isn't he afraid that Zhou Tong will look for trouble with him? Duan Lingtian took a deep breath before he left the latent dragon abyss. He began to search for Zhang Qiu, the inner mansion elder, based on his memories from half a year ago. Duan Lingtian, you've come out of closed-door cultivation? Zhang Qiu was slightly surprised when he saw Duan Lingtian. He had heard that Duan Lingtian had not left the stone chamber in the depths of the latent dragon abyss and had been in closed-door cultivation for the past 6 months. It was precisely because of this that he asked this question when he saw Duan Lingtian had come looking for him. As for the reason why Duan Lingtian came looking for him, he could naturally guess it. Yes. Duan Lingtian nodded. He could not help but sigh. I can't believe I spent half a year in closed-door cultivation. That's how cultivation works. Zhang Qiu smiled. You've only spent half a year in closed-door cultivation. I once spent more than 10 years in closed-door cultivation. As the saying goes, cultivation knows no time. What I didn't expect was that you, Elder Zhang Qiu, actually took the blame for me half a year ago. Duan Lingtian looked at Zhang Qiu solemnly and said, Elder Zhang Qiu, I know you did that out of goodwill. However, have you ever thought that Zhou Tong would come looking for trouble with you once he comes out of closed-door cultivation and finds out about what happened half a year ago? Duan Lingtian, do you think I took the blame for you half a year ago to return the favor I owed you when we were on our way to the county city from Bloody Spectre City? Zhang Qiu asked. Isn't that the case? Duan Lingtian replied with a question. Of course not. Zhang Qiu shook his head and said, After you came to the county governor's estate, I told you that I'll ask the county governor to help you when revered elder Zhou Tong insists on taking you as his direct disciple so that you won't be harmed by him. That way, I'll be able to return the favor I owe you. In other words, from the moment I sent you to the latent dragon abyss, the favor between us has been repaid. Zhang Qiu continued to speak. Duan Lingtian recalled Zhang Qiu had told him this before he left to look for the county governor of Nine Spectres County. Since we already owe each other a favor, why did you take the blame for me, Elder Jingqiu? Duan Lingtian was even more confused. He had a feeling this matter was not as simple as it seemed. If Zhang Qiu did not think he owed Duan Lingtian a favor, he would not take the risk of offending Zhou Tong to help Duan Lingtian. After all, he and this elder Zhang Qiu could only be considered to be acquaintances. I can tell you this later, Zhang Qiu said. Zhang Qiu looked at Duan Lingtian and asked, I'm more curious. Why did you insist on breaking Zhou Fei's limbs and injuring him when you knew about the rules of the latent dragon abyss? You should know that not only did you offend Zhou Fei's foster father, Zhou Tong, the first revered elder of the county governor's estate, but you also offended the county governor who set the rules of the latent dragon abyss. You're playing with fire by doing that. I'm really curious. Why did you do that? Didn't you think about the consequences? As Zhang Qiu spoke, he continued to probe further. Why did I do that? Duan Lingtian narrowed his eyes when he heard Zhang Qiu's words. A hint of coldness flashed in his eyes. I was merely giving him a taste of his own medicine. If it wasn't for Zhou Fei threatening to sever my limbs, I wouldn't have bothered to sever his limbs. It's that simple? Zhang Qiu looked at Duan Lingtian in disbelief. You broke his limbs and injured him just because he threatened you? Threatened you? Duan Lingtian smirked when he heard Zhang Qiu's words. Elder Zhang Qiu, it's only because I'm stronger than him that day. If I'm weaker than him, I'm certain the person who would have his limbs severed would have been me instead of him. Even if that's the case, you're too rash. Zhang Qiu shook his head and said, according to the rules of the latent dragon abyss, the challenger can't injure the person being challenged. However, the person being challenged can injure the challenger. In other words, he can break your limbs without destroying them. However, you can't do that. I couldn't care less about the situation at that time, Duan Lingtian said indifferently. Based on Duan Lingtian's words, he had completely portrayed himself as a reckless man who did not care about the consequences. However, was that really the case? In fact, he had already thought of the consequences when he broke Zhou Fei's limbs and injured him. However, he still did it. He had thought of a way to protect himself from Zhou Tong and the county governor of Nine Spectres County. Just as Duan Lingtian was about to speak to Zhang Qiu, a figure in the latent dragon abyss flew over from the latent dragon abyss. Tens of thousands of miles to the north of the county city of Nine Spectres County, an old figure flew across the sky. With a sway of his body, he seemed to have traveled a great distance. The figure was getting closer and closer to the county city of Nine Spectres County. It was obvious he was heading to the county city of Nine Spectres County. Duan Lingtian, who injured Fei is from Bloody Spectre City? The old man's eyes glinted coldly as he muttered to himself. His voice was so cold that it seemed as though the temperature in the surroundings had dropped a few degrees. And that Zhang Qiu, how dare he take the blame for Duan Lingtian? He's seeking death. Based on the old man's muttering, it was obvious who he was. Zhou Tong, the first revered elder of the county governor's estate in Nine Spectres County. Chapter 2641. In the county city of Nine Spectres County, in the county governor's mansion, Zhang Qiu's residence. Duan Lingtian, you need to change that temper of yours. You're lucky this time. Otherwise, even if you didn't die from that incident half a year ago, you would have at least lost a layer of skin. Zhang Qiu looked at Duan Lingtian and said solemnly. In his opinion, half a year ago, if the special envoy from the King Qin's mansion had not arrived in time to convey the message to the county governor of the Nine Spectres County, Duan Lingtian would have been doomed. After all, he had severely injured Zhou Fei, Zhou Tong's adopted son. As for Zhou Tong, he had always been protective. If Duan Lingtian was willing to become Zhou Tong's disciple, then he might be able to bury the hatchet. But the problem was, he knew that it was impossible for Duan Lingtian to become Zhou Tong's disciple. This time, you can be considered to have escaped calamity. But if there is a next time, you might not be able to escape calamity. Zhang Qiu said in a deep voice, your innate talent is extraordinary. However, in the spirit overarching heaven, there are many people with extraordinary innate talent like you. Many of those people died young because they have a temper like yours. In the Devata realms, talent and brute force alone won't be enough to have the last laugh. As Zhang Qiu spoke, his tone became more like he was educating someone. Yes. Duan Lingtian nodded. He naturally understood this. If he had not thought of more than one way to deal with the consequences of that incident, he would not have recklessly broken Zhou Fei's 4 limbs and crippled him. However, in front of Zhang Qiu, he did not intend to explain, nor was it convenient for him to explain. Elder Zhang Qiu. Duan Lingtian stared at Zhang Qiu with a burning gaze and went straight to the point. Why did you take the blame for me 6 months ago? You just said that I was lucky, so you were probably talking about that, right? There must be something fishy going on. Duan Lingtian was well aware of this. Half a year ago, it was the county governor's order for me to take the blame for you, Zhang Qiu said. Before Zhang Qiu could finish speaking, Duan Lingtian's eyes widened. He interrupted Zhang Qiu and asked in a low voice, "You're saying it was the county governor's idea to make you take the blame for me half a year ago?"
Yes.
Zhang Qiu nodded. Why? Duan Lingtian did not expect the county governor of Nine Spectres County had instructed Zhang Qiu to take the blame for him and help him solve the matter 6 months ago. The county governor of the Nine Spectres County had instructed Zhang Qiu to become the scapegoat. However, he could not figure out why the county governor of Nine Spectres County would do that. He had never seen the county governor of Nine Spectres County even after he came to the county city and the county governor's mansion. Since he had never seen him before, why would he help him? He couldn't figure it out. Because of the martial competition of 16 counties in 2.5 years, Zhang Qiu said. Martial competition of the 16 counties? Duan Lingtian was confused. What's that? You should know that there are 16 counties under King Qin's mansion. One of them is our Nine Spectres County, Zhang Qiu said. Duan Lingtian nodded. Duan Lingtian nodded. He was aware of this. He knew that there were 16 counties under King Qin's mansion, and one of them was the Nine Spectres County. For example, cities like Bloody Spectre City under Nine Spectres County had to hand over celestial stones to King Qin's mansion every year. Similarly, counties under King Qin's mansion had to hand over a large amount of celestial stones to King Qin's mansion every year. King Qin's mansion and Nine Spectres County were subordinate to each other. Half a year ago, the county governor's office recruited 30 golden immortals under the age of 100, including you. They're the young powerhouses living in the latent dragon abyss. You should know this as well, Zhang Qiu said. Duan Lingtian nodded again. Half a year ago, I only know that King Qin's mansion ordered us to search for these 30 experts. As for the specific reason, I don't know. I told you this half a year ago. I told you about this. Half a year ago, 3 days after you severed Zhou Fei's limbs and severely injured him, the Nine Spectres County welcomed an envoy from the King Qin's mansion. The special envoy from King Qin's mansion came to Nine Spectres County to look for the county governor. He passed on King Qin's mansion's message to the county governor that the martial competition of the 16 counties would be held in 3 years. Only golden celestials under the age of 100 from King Qin's mansion can participate in the martial competition of the 16 counties. At that time, the county governor also found out the reason King Qin's mansion ordered the 16 counties, including Nine Spectres County, to gather 30 golden celestials who are younger than 100 years old. As it turns out, King Qin's mansion is preparing for the martial competition of the 16 counties. At this point, Zhang Qiu paused and didn't continue speaking for the time being. In other words, everyone living in the latent dragon abyss, including me, will have to participate in the martial competition of the 16 counties in 2.5 years, and our opponents will be a group of gold immortals who are less than 100 years old and have been recruited from the other 15 counties? Duan Lingtian asked.
Yes.
Zhang Qiu nodded. King Qin's mansion is placing great importance on the martial competition of the 16 counties. According to the county governor, not only will King Qin's mansion reward the top 10, but the counties behind the top 10 will also be rewarded handsomely. The county city behind the top 3 of the martial competition of the 16 counties will receive the medium-grade celestial pill, the Great Luo pill. The county city behind the champion of the martial competition of the 16 counties will get 3 Great Luo elixirs. The county city behind the champion of the martial competition of the 16 counties will get 2 great Luo elixirs. The county city behind the champion of the martial competition of the 16 counties will also get 1. Zhang Qiu finished his sentence in one breath. Great overarching pills? Duan Lingtian inhaled sharply. He was impressed by King Qin's mansion's generosity. He knew what a great overarching pill was. It was a pill that could help a violet sun golden celestial to break through and become a great overarching golden celestial. It was more precious than most prominent celestial pills. Ordinary mediocre celestial alchemists would not be able to refine it. Only mediocre celestial alchemists who possessed a specific celestial fire could refine it. Moreover, even a great overarching golden celestial could greatly improve his cultivation base after consuming a great overarching pill. Some Daluo golden immortals who encountered bottlenecks in their cultivation could also take Daluo pills to break through the bottleneck and step into the next level of cultivation. One could imagine how valuable a great overarching pill was. From the looks of it, you should know how precious the mediocre celestial pill, the great overarching pill is, right? Zhang Qiu asked.
Yes.
Duan Lingtian nodded. Then, he could not help but frown. He looked at Zhang Qiu in confusion and asked, Elder Zhang Qiu, do you know why King Qin's mansion is organizing the martial competition of the 16 counties? He had a feeling that King Qin's mansion was not organizing the martial competition of the 16 counties just to recruit new talents. After all, King Qin's mansion had offered 6 mediocre celestial pills, the great overarching pills, to participate in the martial competition of the 16 counties. I'm not sure. Zhang Qiu had wanted to say that King Qin's mansion was recruiting talents. However, when he thought about how generous King Qin's mansion was with the great overarching pills, he felt that things were not as simple as they seemed. Now, you should know why the county governor asked me to take the initiative to be the scapegoat, right? Zhang Qiu asked. Duan Lingtian's eyes flashed as he nodded. He was not a fool. When Zhang Qiu mentioned the Great Luo Pill as a reward for the top 3 contestants, he knew why the county governor of 9 Spectres County would protect him, a person he had never met before. If that's the case, I have to thank the special envoy for his timely arrival. Duan Lingtian smiled faintly. He finally found out. As it turned out, the county governor of 9 Spectres County regarded him, a nobody who had just arrived from Bloody Spectre City, to be on par with Zhou Tong, the first revered elder of the county governor's estate. If it weren't for me, Zhou Fei, Zhou Tong's adopted son, would have been the hope of the county governor of 9 Spectres County. However, after I arrived at the county governor's estate from Bloody Spectre City and easily defeated and severely injured Zhou Fei, the county governor has placed his hopes on me. After all, based on the strength I displayed half a year ago, I have a much better chance of getting into the top 3 in the martial competition of the 16 counties than Zhou Fei. Duan Lingtian was well aware of this. All of a sudden, Zhang Qiu. Duan Lingtian was about to bid farewell to Zhang Qiu when an old voice that was filled with anger rang from outside Zhang Qiu's courtyard. It was as though Zhang Qiu hated him for killing his father and stealing his wife. HM? Duan Lingtian, who was about to bid farewell to Zhang Qiu, was stunned when he heard the angry voice. He instinctively turned to look at Zhang Qiu. It's revered elder Zhou Tong. When Duan Lingtian looked at Zhang Qiu narrowed his eyes. It seems like he's coming out of closed-door cultivation today. Zhang Qiu was already prepared for Zhou Tong to come looking for trouble with him after he came out of closed-door cultivation. Therefore, even if Zhou Tong came now, he didn't panic in the slightest. Swoosh! Zhang Qiu raised his hand and took out a jade token. After he injected his celestial origin energy into it, the jade token turned into a streak of light and flew out of his courtyard at lightning speed. Duan Lingtian recognized the jade token as a communication celestial talisman with just a glance. It was not difficult for him to guess why Zhang Qiu had sent him a communication celestial talisman. In the county governor's estate in 9 Spectres County, there was only one person who could suppress Zhou Tong, the first revered elder. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.